Welcome, everybody. We are the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox One community. This is podcast number 322. It is a fabulous week. It's been a fabulous week. It's the middle of summer, and boy, does it feel like it. It's 100 and hot degrees outside.
100 and hot with change.
100 and hot.
No, there's a shortage. No change.
No
There's
change.
no
There's
change.
change.
No change.
Yeah,
That's
that's true. That's
change.
right.
This is
You're right.
shortage.
Yeah.
There's a change shortage.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, I'm joined by the bros, the XoneBros. First and foremost, it's Mr. McSpicy, Mark Haywood.
Hello, how's it going?
Jordan the Man is in the house.
Hello.
And last but not least, I am X1. Welcome to another fantastic show. We do have some house notes here. First up, it is the last day of the month. So next week is actually going to be our updated credits, our Patreon giveaway, etc., etc. I do want to mention, if you want to support the show, there's two ways you can do it. You can do it via Patreon, or you can come over to youtube.com/X1Bros. Click the join button on our channel and subscribe to us that way. It's $4.99 a month, the same as it was on Mixer. You get access to emotes and stuff like that. So come join us over emotes, and you get a badge. There you go, a loyalty badge.
If you want to support us, it's an excellent way to do it.
It is, absolutely. But other than that, it is the last day of the month. Since it's the last day of the month, I do want to talk about our game club game that we played.
Yeah.
It was Rise,
Beat it just in time.
Son of Rome. Jordan the Man beat it.
Just in time.
It was Rise, Son of a Bitch.
That could have been the sequel.
It could have been the
That
sequel.
would have been an awesome title.
Yeah, so Rise, Son of Rome. I'll just give you
Streets of Rage edition.
I'll give you my first my impressions. Now, when I went into this game initially, I wasn't expecting it to stand the test of time. Nothing's been done to it. It's not an Xbox X enhanced game or anything like that. It stands up. I think it's a very underrated game in this genre. I would like to see another one. I think if you just take the bones of this one and you make another one, updated, awesome graphics, maybe a little bit more in-depth story and gameplay, longer campaign, something like that, you could do something really special with that franchise. It stands the test of time. It's still beautiful, even though it was a launch title. The controls are tight. I expected them to feel heavy, super tight. And it is, I think, what gaming is at its core. It's just fun, right? It reminds me of why I love games. It's just fun. There is nothing funner than taking on 3 barbarians at once, getting your ultimate, and just slicing them and dicing them in ways that is disgusting and awesome at the same time. You are a killing Roman machine, and it's beautiful. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Jordan, yourself, you beat it. How did that last level go for you on updated? Isn't that's
good.
One of the coolest scenes and levels?
Yeah, when he's walking through that part.
So good. Did it hold up to you? For you?
No, yeah, it's good. I think when the game came out, like you, I think it was a little underrated, right? I don't think I think the game was good, right? I don't think it's a great game. I don't think it's perfect. I think there's room for improvement. But what I think it does is, I think like any first game in a genre, right, or in a series, I think it sets a good foundation. I think if they decided to make a sequel, they could have made a really good sequel, and the setting of the game works perfect. I mean, who doesn't want to play in Rome, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's a fascinating time period, and it's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah. So, but no, I think the first game set a really good foundation. I don't think it's perfect. I think there can be improvements, like maybe less quick time combat, stuff like that. Maybe the second one they could have added more of a, not necessarily level up system, but RPG type stuff where you get.
I mean, you did become more powerful. It was decent. It wasn't bad.
No,
it just wasn't super in depth.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it laid a good foundation. It set up your characters, your story, your setting, right? I think if they would have pursued a sequel or even a trilogy or anything like
Or if
that,
they
I
still
think
do.
I think. Well, I mean, who knows, right? But
Got that in their back pocket.
yeah. Anyway, I think if they did pursue a sequel or a trilogy or whatever they want to go for, I think it could do really well. But didn't they talk about we're not making a sequel? I mean, that could always change,
I don't
right?
know why.
But
I think you should make a sequel.
But I mean, it was. I think it was a really good foundation. I think it's very.
Dude,
good. I'm playing a lot
you
of.
could even do. I don't even mind if you do this.
Yeah.
Rise, Daughter of Rome. I'd be down. I'd be down.
Yeah.
Imagine the armor.
Ooh. Yes.
No, I actually think I've been playing a lot of Halo Combat Evolved lately,
Yeah, okay.
going through the series. I think I think Halo's a better game.
Well, you're
But,
taking one of the greatest games
No,
ever.
The
But
game
I
that
think-
put Xbox on the
No,
map.
but I think it's similar in the fact that Halo, if you compare it to some of its other ones like 2 and 3 especially, it's not as good, but it laid a foundation, you know what I mean? Like it set a good foundation for that to build off of, right? For Halo 2 and 3 to build off of, right? Which is what I think Rise Son of Rome does. So, the sequel, Rise Daughter of Rome or whatever, it could be
Rise
Bastard of Rome.
Bastard of Rome.
Uncle. Uncle of Rome. Roommate.
Roommate.
Rise. Roommate of Rome.
Roommate of Rome.
No, but I thought of that
Freeloader. Rise. Freeloader of Rome.
Rise. Freeloader of Rome.
I thought of that last night. I thought because I was playing Halo Combat Evolved, I thought, hey, because I just finished Rise yesterday, right in time, right for Game Pass. I thought, man, Halo was a really good foundation and set up a lot of stuff that then Halo 2 and 3 took and made better, right?
Yeah.
I think Rise is in that same position, and I am a little bummed they did not pursue a sequel and build off of that initial.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and the important thing is it still holds up. If you haven't played it on Game Pass guys yet, Game Pass, go check it out. It is super good. Chat says Rise was like that one movie on Rotten Tomatoes that the critics gave a 19%, but the audience gave it an 80%. I agree. I think there was this expectation at the beginning of this generation that critics, and we all maybe suffer from it a little bit, they had this very high expectation because there was a lot of those first games, Titanfall was one of them, Rise was one of them, where they kind of hammered it in the review and then went back, and Destiny was one of it as well, and then went back and corrected themselves that actually this was really good. I think we just had a little bit too much hype behind this game.
That's a really interesting comment because I feel like we're kind of seeing that again going into the new generation.
Which is
There's a lot of high expectations.
Which is interesting. I do think that was a real thing at the beginning of this generation. Jordan actually sent me a message today and said that, hey, we were really critical of media at the beginning of this podcast. But I think at the beginning of this generation of Xbox, there was it was an adjustment. I think it was an inflex point, a transition point of changing the types of games, always online games. They reviewed those. They tried to do the traditional review of one review, final. And then they started, they have since adjusted. And now I think reviews are actually a lot better than they were at the beginning of this.
Oh, yeah, of course there's improvement, yeah.
But it's interesting to me, Jordan, that you were listening to our earlier episodes.
Yeah, because I messaged you today and I said, hey,
we
man,
were really critical of media at that time. But I think looking back, when you look at Rise Son of Rome, Destiny, there was this critic review, and there really was this audience review. Destiny got hammered, and yet it was the number one played game, right?
Even another launch title, which Mark can attest to this, one of the greatest games ever made. It's definitely in my top 5, but Dead Rising 3.
Yeah,
game's
fantastic. Okay. I say
I love that game.
I say one of the greatest games ever made in my top 5. If you have a friend to play with, I think that's what made it more fun. But what that game did is a lot of I remember specific reviews complaining about the graphics, how his hands looked terrible and stuff like that. But first of all, that game was incredibly fun, and what it did is it showed you remember how many zombies were on screen, which is now just a standard.
It was the first time we'd ever seen that.
It was like, holy crap! I mean, when you can wear a thong on a steamroller bike with
Steamroller Harley, steamroller
with
Harley,
your friend
with
who
spikes
has,
on the front,
with your friend who has, I'm going to say it, a dildo gun.
the dildo machine gun.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
that
you
you made from scratch.
And you see that on screen with thousands of zombies, and then you just go forward. I mean, that game, that was next gen to me. You know what I mean?
It changed my life.
Yeah, bro, that was one of the funnest games. I actually think on our YouTube channel, one of our first videos is of me and you playing it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that was. But see, there's another game that I feel I don't think it got as harsh as reviews as let's say Rise, but I do think another underrated game. You know what I mean? And another launch title for games, right?
And I think it just shows the evolution of where we are at today. In that I don't see that difference in reviews as harsh. I'll give you a prime example too. Remember, it was like a Madden review. And it was just off. It was like, look at these squiggly lines.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, well, that's built into the game.
Everybody
It's
was
a
like-
glitch. My line's not even staying straight. I was like, well,
No, that's actually what
part of the
crowd gets.
Or
the
like
game.
the basketball game where the crowd would get loud, but they didn't realize that it was things would start to shake a little bit.
Yeah.
And they did that because they wanted to introduce
Simulate
some
the
sort
crowd,
of
yeah.
simulation
Experience,
of crowds, And they're like, it's a bug in the game. No, they did that on purpose.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't see that big of. I don't see that now. I see a lot more accurate. I feel like there was this evolution for all of us in gaming, where these new things were introduced. A lot of people say, "Oh, the Xbox from the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3 to the Xbox One and the PS4 wasn't that big of a jump." It really was. It just wasn't in. It wasn't in graphics like we thought it would be, but over time it has been. But what it was, it really did introduce these changes in this new way of. I mean, just look at what's in our lexicon today versus 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Battle Pass. I mean, just all sorts of things that just didn't exist before, and really kind of paved the way, I think, for this next generation of games. It's really cool just to see the evolution. You can see it through game media reviews and stuff like that.
You know, another thing, since we're on the topic, another thing that was really interesting, and it's kind of almost it's basically changed. But do you remember when Xbox first announced their Xbox, and they got a lot of flack for the always online mode? It was originally always online, and they got a ton of flack. And now thinking about it, if you think of the top 5 games played right now, I mean, they don't have to be your favorite games, but let's be honest, the top 5 games played right now.
It's basically always online.
Yeah, Fortnite, Apex, Warzone,
Grand Theft Auto online.
Yeah, I mean, they're all always online.
Well,
it's interesting.
Again, it was the transition period
Yeah.
for us as gamers, for gaming media, the whole shot, right? So what is criticized today as being unattainable is actually most likely the future, right? Like that tends to happen, and we just don't realize it because we haven't had experience to it, exposure to it, and in some cases the technology just isn't there yet. Like, in all fairness to us as gamers and people who complain about that, the technology, our experience with that technology having to always be online, the internet wasn't where it is today 5 years ago, right? Like, we're a lot more stable now than we were then. So it's interesting to watch that evolution. I do want to, since you brought up, before we move on, Spicy, do you have any thoughts on Rise, Son of Rome? Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like I'm having the same feelings like when I was in college and I went to a class and I'm looking around the room and everyone pulls out their homework and they're all ready, and then I'm like, oh
shit, I forgot it.
I didn't do my homework. That's kind of how I felt, and I thought I was about to get away from it. I never played. I never played it. I thought
even when
I thought you were making.
Yeah, I thought I was about to get my slide through the class because because the subject was changed so hard. I'm like, yes, he's not going to ask me that question.
Not with
I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima instead.
Not with Professor.
That's a good
not
one.
With Professor
that's a good
X1.
game.
Yeah, so whoopsie. I never played it this month. Sorry, I was playing other things. And
You
doing
can
other things.
come after hours to my office. You can make it up.
Yeah.
I
Extra credit.
really did when you guys were talking about it. I was like, oh, damn it.
I noticed you're really quiet there.
I'm not saying a word.
Anyway, so there you go. That is Rise, Son of Rome. We do a Game Club game, guys, every month. Come join us over on Discord, XoneBros.com/Discord.
Dick scored.
Dicks.
No, that's the other one. That's the other one. Yeah. That's the other one. Yeah, don't go to that.
Or XoneBros.com, and you can just hit on the Discord link there.
That's our other channel.
Dick scored.
We play a game every single month as a community. We try to get them in Game Pass so that everybody can join in them. Our game. Are you ready for this? For next month? Can we get a drum roll? Can we get an excitement
The Bulls?
hype train?
Oh, okay, I gotta go in here. I gotta dig. Keep talking.
The game.
No, I don't want
The game of games. We're very excited for this one.
It's on Game
If you're in the
Pass.
pre-show, you know what it is. But for everybody else that's listening right now,
Honestly, I can't find it. I don't know where it is.
Just hit a button. Hit a random button.
Well, I
Close your
mean,
eyes and hit a button.
I could do like this.
there
Like,
we go, guys. The Game Club Game of the Month for the month of August. We figured since it's hot as hell outside, why not play Hellblade?
I found it.
Sacrifice.
I found one.
There it is.
Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice is the game of the month for the month of August. Come join us. Come join us over in Discord. Guess what? We just posted it in our Game Club Discord right now.
damn.
We are synced up.
Isn't this one only like a 5 to 10 hour game? Like, it's not really a long
It's
one.
not
Yeah,
long.
it's
I'd say 6 to 10 hours at the most.
I'm gonna do it in 5.
I played this through once. I'm very excited to go back and play it again, guys. This one is a must experience.
I have never played.
It does some things differently that I can't tell you. Make sure you play with headphones. That's all I can say, because they tell story through sound while you're playing the game. It's beautiful. It's raw. It's gritty. You can see, if you've never played this game too, you can see this is Ninja Theory that Microsoft picked up as a first-party studio. you can see why people are so excited that Microsoft picked up Ninja Theory, because when it comes to the console wars and everybody says, well, PlayStation has these types of games that Xbox doesn't have, Hellblade is that type of game, and Hellblade 2. I'm very excited for it. Imagine being able to make Hellblade with unlimited funds. It's going to be amazing. Ninja Theory is just a small studio that put this together.
It's going to be
Did
15 hours.
a fantastic job.
At least double.
At least double. Yeah.
Double the time.
That's what infinite money does.
Anyways, come
I'm
join
excited.
us. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. That is our game club game
I
of
have
the month.
never played that game. This will be my first time.
Yeah, dude.
Very excited.
I promise, teacher, that I will actually play this one.
Okay.
It's only 6 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
I don't want to fail my class.
With that, you guys did bring up the dildo gun. And so
That's your segue?
Yeah, so with the dildo gun, I actually want to go, because I had this thought while you guys were talking about the dildo gun. What are the top 3 guns in gaming of all time?
Well,
is the dildo gun up there? Does it make the list? Because it sounds amazing.
It doesn't make the list because of the gun itself. It makes the list because of what it actually does to the zombie when you shoot him.
What's funny, because it would stick in
Yeah,
them
and
and,
it
then go
wiggles.
limp. Like go blah, 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 blah.
and you could and that's actually, it's more so the ammunition what makes the top.
But
top
the
3
funny
guns.
thing about it, really didn't do that much damage. Like, it was one of the weaker guns, but it was
Yeah, but
hilarious.
It was great.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it made that. It almost made a. I don't even want to get into the noise, but just play the game. Like it made this. I don't even want to
Can I
describe
tell
it.
you that game is one of the only games that made me laugh so hard. We played that for like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks straight, me and you. My stomach. I mean, I exercised my core a lot because I was laughing so hard the entire 2 weeks. It was one of the funnest times gaming I've ever had in a game.
Well, I just remember when you guys showed me the scene when you play the bad guy, and he's like walking up above you in the rafters, and he's like, lick that lollipop.
The bad guys in this game.
Yeah.
The best
Jerry.
bad guys. I'm Jerry with 2
Jerry.
eyes. Oh my
man.
gosh. It is so funny. It is so funny that the bosses, that everything about that. The guy that the refrigerator salesman or whatever.
Oh yeah,
the samurai guy that his
was
wife
hilarious
left
for a
because-
refrigerator salesman.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. The
They
game's
were
fantastic.
funny. Yeah, they were. That game was really good.
Okay, so let's go through. Let's do top 3 games of all time. Guns of all time in gaming. Then the dildo gun from
That's got to
Dead
be.
or Alive.
Yeah, that's definitely on like a
It's like an honorable mention.
honorable
honorable
mention
mention, yeah.
because it
Most
didn't do
unique-
any damage.
Okay, maybe we don't go top guns. Maybe we go most unique guns.
Unique
Well, I mean,
top.
that's
That's different.
then that takes number 1.
Okay, let's change this. Okay, top 3 most unique guns in games currently, or in the last, let's say, this generation. Dildo gun is that on the list? You think as a unique gun?
Well, it's definitely unique. Yeah,
I would
it's definitely
say-
on the list. Definitely on the list.
So the dildo gun. I just like saying dildo gun.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
who
because
doesn't?
we can go to Destiny for a lot of the guns that I like Fatebringer. I love that weapon.
Also, they got the best titles for games.
yeah.
I mean, Fatebringer.
And then the Galahorn when it was in its prime.
I'll tell you though, one of my
You
favorite
think of beauty.
One of my favorite guns of all time though is probably the DMR from Halo.
Yeah, that's a
because
good one.
it feels good. Like when you shoot and hit someone, and I like that semi-automatic stuff.
So
I did really like the battle rifle as well.
Okay,
But
so
the DMR.
Okay,
is
so
really
we're
good.
staying with top guns of all time, not unique guns. Let's stay with top guns then.
I mean, I guess we could generically say the M4. That is basically your jack of all trade gun.
every
That's
single
in every
hardcore
shooter, right? Yeah,
shooter.
the M4, right? You know.
I really like the sound of the M1 Garand from like all the battlefields. The tink.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the where it comes out. Yeah, the
That's how you
reloading
pronounce
sound.
it. That World War II
How
gun.
about the sound of the Kraber in Apex?
Oh yeah.
That's
a scary
it's
gun.
The sound of death.
Yeah, that one's terrible. You hear that
Yeah.
and you stop.
Any
sound of
It's
death.
terrifying.
Any like 50 caliber sniper rifle gun?
I would imagine Borderlands has got to have some crazy guns on that. Like
yeah, but that's like
on
all
that
of them.
list.
yeah. Every gun is crazy. Oh, that chat says golden gun from Golden.
Oh,
Ah, that's very
probably,
good.
that's probably,
Yeah.
that's probably
There you go. That's gonna make a big
in
one.
raw power. That's probably towards the top.
Yeah. Well, I really like the Halo 1 pistol because of just how overpowered it was. I mean, I think they kind of turned that into the DMR. Like just how it worked, just
Yeah.
like the mechanics of the gun. Because that was the gun I always got to just headshot people.
So chat is saying the gravity gun in Rage 2, where you shoot where you want and then shoot where you want it to go. It's a ton of fun. That is a fun. Dude, Rage 2 has got some good guns.
And they're also talking about the rearranger gun in
in
Outer
Outer
Worlds,
Worlds.
which messes up the hue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was
The Needler was really good. I
Oh.
really like that. This can be, I don't know if this is considered an actual weapon, but the Portal gun from Portal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a gun.
I mean, the
is
whole
a gun.
game is based on that weapon
Yeah.
or
And
device.
it opens portals.
Yeah, several
Two,
different
yeah,
portals.
yeah,
Yeah. Half-Life weapons. I see people in chat talking about Half-Life. The crowbar in Half-Life I really liked. It was like the utility weapon. But no, there's a lot of good weapons now that I think of it.
Who as a genre, as a series, is there a singular IP that kind of overall their weapons are just superior?
I mean, that's
is that
Borderlands.
Destiny
I
or
would say, no,
Borderlands?
I would say, well, Destiny's, their guns are very good, but Borderlands just, I don't know, they touch you. You know?
They
They make you feel good.
There literally is a gun that touches you.
You really, once you get a gun in Borderlands, you hold on to it forever, even though because you rank up and then it loses its utility.
value.
Yeah, it loses its value, but you just keep on to it because it's just such a good weapon. Like the ones that lob grenades when you reload and do all those different things. I still in Borderlands. It's like the only game I do this. I keep my favorite weapons in the vault. You know how you have a vault, even though I'll never use them again,
Yeah,
just
it's-
because I liked them so much.
And they're so unique, I think, is the way they act are so unique. And sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not so good.
Yeah. Well, the ones that I don't like, I just
Okay, let's
So-
go through personal. Let's end this discussion on personal favorite gun of all time. Let's start with George the Man. Is it the DMR from Halo? What's your personal favorite gun?
I don't know. I mean,
Of all
that's
time.
that's
it's
such
a hard one. Like
question.
I think the DMR and the battle rifle are interchangeable. I like both those guns.
I'm a
right
big
from
fan
Halo,
of
especially for like battle rifle from Halo 3.
Okay.
DMR from like Halo Reach, right?
Yeah.
But then you got the new Doom games. Their shotgun, the Doom shotgun, the new
Yeah.
Doom
Oh,
shotgun.
yeah,
I mean,
dude.
they basically just put a knife on the end of it.
Dude, that
Well, and
shotgun.
we haven't even talked about the Gears guns where you can just
Oh, yeah,
slice
the
through
Lancer,
people.
yeah.
The Lancer.
The Lancer's got to be
And the
one of the
Gnasher.
coolest guns.
The Gnasher is like
No, that's a shotgun.
no, that yeah. So I don't know
That's
how
hard
you
to pick.
answer that. I don't know how we.
I don't
get
think you
to-
can. I think that's. Oh,
I mean, because
impossible.
those are iconic
impossible.
of all these games. You know what I mean? Like when you're if I was a developer,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, Steve, I want the most badass gun ever. Get on it.
Get on it now.
I think that's like every game. They always have
Yeah.
a Steve
Yeah.
that does that.
Yeah.
You know that they want an iconic gun, and so they put a lot of time and effort into
Chat
it.
does have an excellent point. The Stranger's rifle from Destiny. I think
the
that's
gun that does nothing?
Yeah, that's an iconic. That became an iconic gun in the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like, that's-
Oh.
Well, because
we all know about it.
It's built up. The stranger's like, oh yeah, and here, this will help you on your
and
journey.
you're like, I got
and
it.
it's 3 levels underpowered. When you get it, it's 3 levels underpowered and does nothing.
And then she just disappears. So it's kind of like, what'd you just give me? You know, like
Oh,
what?
Thanks.
Yeah, what?
She's so cool, and she gave me something so weak.
yeah.
Thanks for that.
Well, there you go. It's
I don't
there's,
know.
There's you don't really think about it, right? In terms of like this broad. Oh man, look at all these cool guns. But when you say it and you're like, okay, what's the best gun out there? It's you. I don't know if you can pick of all the games, just in this generation. Even there's so many games have that part of gaming really dialed in.
Yeah.
I mean, even melee weapons in these games are good. Like the hammer in Halo, like Halo
gravity
3.
hammer? Yeah,
the
grip
grab
ball?
Grip ball, yeah, it's awesome. When you slam it down and people just go boom and fly all over the map because of the power of the gravity hammer.
I think there was a golf mod with that hammer as well.
Anyways, the spread. Yes, bro. Yes, chat just said it. The spread gun from Contra.
Oh, yes.
That would if you accidentally if you had
was
that
it the 3 or the 5?
it was just spread across the
Yeah,
screen
yeah.
into like the red balls. You have that and you're like yes, and then you accidentally get the laser and you're like damn it. Oh man, that was so good. The spread gun. Everybody wanted that S to drop from those power ups because you wanted the spread. Oh, that is such a good call, chat. That's a good one.
Great discussion, guys. That brings us to the next segment of our show. Jordan, tell us what is happening in the world that is Xbox One this week.
A lot of stuff.
Well, that's
Oh,
good.
can we start, actually? I forgot.
Yeah, let's start.
Can we start with Grounded released? Can we start with that?
I was going to start with what I thought would be bigger news.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Start with
No,
Grounded.
can I choose too?
Well, because I forgot. I wanted to discuss Grounded. but that's
We
okay.
can start with Grounded.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let me read a question from Z Capitan.
Grounded
And then we'll
came out,
discuss it.
everybody.
Grounded,
Hey, everybody, Grounded came out this week, and on bigger news.
Yeah, game preview.
Z Capitan writes in and says, Obsidian released their new game on Game Pass and on Steam. It is a bestseller right now. Is it the game, or is it that it's Obsidian? And if the latter, is it good or bad for the future of Xbox first-party games? That's a great question. Let's to answer this question, let's review Grounded. We all got a chance to play it. I freaking love that game. I was surprised at how quickly it sucked me in, and I think it's because it's unique. It does have that Outer Worlds feel, that Outer Worlds zaniness and attention to detail, but I'm a little midget running through the grass. Yeah. And holy crap.
I believe, actually, in this case, you are a little person.
I'm a little person. Sorry.
I
literally am a
legitimately
shrunken
little
person.
I think that's the correct. I'm pretty sure in this context that's actually what you're supposed to say.
I'm running through the grass. Now
little
this is an early access game. This is an Xbox game preview. So it only has like the first part of the story, but you can build. The building mechanics in this game, I'm super impressed with. One of the things that I really like that I hope other building games do, that they do correctly, is you can blueprint it out. So you can build this whole structure with blueprints to see and make sure you get stuff right before you actually use materials to put them down. And it can stay there permanently as a blueprint while you're working on it. I think that's super cool. It has the feeling of Outer Worlds, the character of Outer Worlds, but you're in this crazy new backyard world of grass and bugs and ants and getting one-shotted by freaking roaches that just destroy you. And I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised at how good that game was and how quickly it sucked it in, at least for me.
Yeah.
I do think this is a unique experience, so it might not be for everybody. But I didn't expect to like this game. I didn't even get interested in this game until the Game Pass showcase, and the gameplay looked really cool and interesting. And I really like it. I like even just the story that is set up. There are these bunkers throughout the yard that you're unlocking, and there's a story there's like robots basically in labs that are created in the story, and it just gives you a sample of the story in this preview mode, and then it opens up the sandbox mode for you after that. But I'm very excited for the future of this game. Is it Obsidian or is it the game? I think it's a little bit of both. I think people are excited because they know Obsidian as a quality developer. But then the game has to deliver, and if it doesn't deliver, I don't think it becomes the best. It's the best-selling game on Steam right now. Actually, ready for this?
I'm ready.
4 of the top 6 games on Steam right now, best-selling games this week, all Microsoft games.
Wow.
You've got Halo Master Chief Collection. You've got Microsoft Flight Simulator. You've got Grounded. And I forget the third one.
And then the other one that we all know about.
Yeah, the other one that I just forget off the top of my head. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. That's my first impressions of Grounded. Jordan, how about yourself? What do you think?
So I like the game, but I feel it's just this is the only early access game that has made me feel weird about like
pedophile weird? What
No,
kind of weird
like,
are we
Not
going here?
dildo gun weird.
Like, I
Dildo gun.
feel-
We just got done talking about dildo guns. That didn't make you feel weird.
Well, no,
But
like
this makes you feel weird.
well, no, like
the dildo gun made him smile.
I was telling, Mark and I was actually just talking about this. I feel satisfied yet taken advantage of at the same time.
okay.
You know, like
I think we've all been there.
No, it's because I think the base game is really good. I think the mechanics are cool. I love the blueprint system, how you can build up your base and then have all your friends come in and you know bring you material and stuff like that. So you can like basically put the blueprint of what you want your base to look like and then bring the materials in later and slowly build it up. I like that it's difficult. Like if you come across a spider and you're under leveled, or even the army ants, they attack you. I like the survival aspect. I like that it's like leaning towards the survival aspect. I like that it's a little bit more simplistic than like an Ark, as in it's just water and food. You know, water, food, and health, right?
Okay, keep going. So don't read chat. It'll make you laugh.
Yeah, like when you, water, food, and then health and stamina, right? Like it's a very simple system, right? I like that. I like the simplicity behind it, but I also like how in depth you can go with the building. I think the story stuff is going to be cool, and it was interesting going from story to story, even though it was only like 45 minutes when you eventually, because I did go through and beat given this it's just like they did say like when you beat it there will be more to come, right? And this is where I get into that awkward phase of like I was satisfied but also feel taken advantage of, in the respect that I went to a multiplayer game, and everybody's, you can complain about this if you want, but I feel like if you're going to have even if it's early access, if you're going to have a multiplayer aspect, this should not be your number one bullet point of coming soon. So you go into multiplayer, you create the match, and it says coming soon, invite friends. What?
Yeah, it's not.
What?
I haven't been able to jump into it.
Well, you can. You just have to do it through the Xbox not
Live,
the game, right? Like, and it's difficult, right? And that I wasn't. I mean, there was a few multiplayer issues we had, but I'm not complaining about that because of the early access, right? I understand that, but it feels to me, and I'm not complaining about this game because I really like it. I think this has a potential.
What
to be
you're complaining
really,
about is the preview aspect of this game?
Yeah,
why be in preview?
Why did you not wait another month or two and then release this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why do we have to go to preview for this?
Yeah, I wonder
or even wait another month or two and then go to preview
where you can invite your friends.
Yeah, but it was just there was certain features that were really good that I really enjoyed, like the simplicity of the survival, water, food, stamina, health. I love the blueprint system. I love the discovery system where you take it and scan it.
Yeah.
And then when you build a piece of armor or build a new equipment, you can take that and scan that, and it'll show you upgrades and different stuff. I love
Very
that
cool.
aspect. I like how big the world is. I like how certain zones you need a gas mask to go into. I like the set. There's a lot that I like about it. And people are probably just going to say, well, it's early access, it's to be expected. But, I mean, I don't think it's to be expected from this type of developer, because why is a multiplayer, like, why invite your friends? Why is that coming soon? You know what I mean? Like, why is that coming soon? I guess you can argue the story, but why isn't there more? The thing that gets me about the story, and you know what? You can't argue the story. I think there should have been more story in there, because leading up to this game, they talked about how they want to change the way survival games tell stories. I'll be honest, it's 20 minutes longer than... It's about a 20-minute story.
Yeah.
It's about a 20-minute story if you just go straight through it. And to be honest, it's 20 minutes longer than any other survival story that there is,
true.
right? But
it had the story aspect of it too. Had that outer world.
No, it
feel.
did,
like
and
it was like
it was mysterious.
different.
It was
and,
fun,
and
right?
intriguing, and that's the part that I think helped suck me in. And
Exactly.
then when you get to the end, I didn't have a problem with it because I think I went in with low expectations. I was like, okay, this game looked pretty good
All
on
right, this
Game
game's
Pass.
gonna
I'm
suck.
not into this. Really, this is probably going to be pretty gimmicky, right? That's kind of how I approached it. But it's not at all, and I think that's where maybe I don't have a problem with the chat said it feels more like a demo than other game previews have felt.
Yeah.
I think that's inaccurate.
No, I do
inaccurate.
too, and the reason the story not necessarily upsets me, but just makes me ask why, is because you talked about in your bullet points or in your hype up, you mentioned like we're gonna change the way survival tells story, and then it's only a 20-minute thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I understand it's a smaller development team. I think it's like 15 people or something like that. But I don't know. I just feel there's a lot of stuff that I like the combat. I like all the survival and building aspects. I think that part is solid and that's ready to go. You know what I mean? And the discovery of stuff, the exploration, the story stuff. I think what I'm upset with and where I feel like they took advantage of me is your feature set.
Yeah.
The fact that there's not an invite your friend thing, the lack of story, I guess, only 20 minutes if you just go straight through it. I mean, and the game is more about surviving and building, and I get that, but it's just you kind of hyped up these features and stuff like that.
It is preview mode though.
No, and that's what people are gonna say, and I get that. But I feel like why didn't you just wait another couple months and then put it into preview? Like it's like it's
so
yeah, it's just it's
so
an interesting.
Is your complaint that you wanted more of it, that it's incomplete, that there just wasn't enough there for you to sink your teeth into? What I mean,
he just wanted an X to invite friends.
Well, yeah, I wanted that.
The blue button on the controller.
That was
I'm
the
pretty sure that
you
you just want to be able to press that and invite friends.
That was the final straw, right? I just
pretty
feel
sure that's what it comes down to.
I don't know. Maybe I'm getting tired of early access games, right?
Okay.
It might just be
That's
that,
fair.
right?
yeah, I think that's fair.
But it's just, why didn't they wait until it was more completed? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I mean,
And then go into early access to test out your multiplayer, your service, your stuff like that. You know what I mean? Why not complete it? I feel like they put it out early because we needed a game for this time slot. You know what I mean? We needed that hype that we needed to fill the slot. You know, and I'm not saying it's a bad game. I enjoyed it. I've played it quite a bit this week in single player mode and in multiplayer mode, which I did give feedback. One of my quality of life changes that I would like is being able to name your save files. Yeah. Because it's actually incredibly complicated.
It's true.
It's like, okay, I think that was our multiplayer save, right? Let's go to the single player save, right? You know what I mean? So, other things I'd like to see if they get to that point would be like a bigger server with more players, right? But anyway, those are just my thoughts on it, right? I like the game. I just feel like they just should have waited. It felt incomplete to me. And I get that it's early access, and maybe I'm just tired of early access games. But I wanted a more complete experience. Okay. That being said, I think the game is really fun.
That's fair. Spicy.
Jordan, doesn't the fact that you can go anti-arachnophobia mode outweigh the fact that you don't have a blue button?
Yeah, well, the thing is, they took the time to put that feature in.
Dude, how about those spiders, though? Because I was like, well, why would you need to do that? But the spiders are scary.
Yeah, but have you got into arachnophobia mode?
No.
It's basically a snowball.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it's like
awesome. It's hilarious.
They're just big snowballs running around and destroy everything.
I actually think it looks scarier as a snowball with eyes than it does.
But I actually really like this game. I think this game is Ark without the geopolitics that come with
with the perpetual online server.
with the perpetual online server that Ark, is.
Geopolitics, that's funny.
Yeah, because it's like all like terrain based, and there's so many adult things that happen in the Ark server that you're just like, oh my gosh. This is more, I wouldn't say this is like Ark for kids. I would say this is Ark for people with kids.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's still very fun. I really enjoy this game. I played it like Jordan. I played it all week too, and I played with Jordan. Once we figured out that you could just join through Xbox Live versus inviting friends. But I really, it's an interesting game because it's obviously preview. There's building. I do like the fact that you can
blueprint
it out, but there's some quirks with the building that is really frustrating. For example, let's say I'm over by the oak tree and I die by means that aren't my fault. Like just randomly 5 spiders appear all around me. I get warped back to my base, where you have your sleeping bag or whatever. And then I'm surrounded by cockroaches and everything else, and then I just keep dying over and over and over in my base. Which it's a base. I should be safe in my base, but I'm not because they appear in my base somehow, right? So
you are probably
you gotta upgrade. You gotta upgrade to that weed, weed walls,
that's the spiders, man. They're mean,
dude, and they're creepy. They legitimately creeped me out. It was like, oh my goodness.
And it's a difficult game, but it's fun. I think it's great. I think that I was a little disappointed when 20 minutes in, I made it to the robot, and he's like, well. Hope you enjoyed the story.
Thank you for the preview.
And they're saying there's going to be more story. So, but with that attached to that, it is a preview game, so it's a whatever for that stuff. I think the game screams potential.
It really does. I think that's the thing. There's so much potential that when you get to that point, you're like, oh, I want more, because it does have that Outer Worlds single story feel to it. You can see that this is definitely Obsidian. There's character there. Z Capitan, one of his questions. Is it good or bad for the future of Xbox first-party games? I would like to answer that.
For what? On what context?
For Grounded. Just is Grounded. It's a bestseller right now. It's the number 1 selling game right now on Steam, actually.
It's another game. It's another game that has mixed reviews. It doesn't say, on Steam how it says mostly positive, mostly negative. Yeah. This is a game that's all over the map with the reviews, but it is the most popular right now, right? Yeah. So...
and I bet you those reviews, if you were to go read them, and I haven't, so take this with a grain of salt, but I would be willing to bet it's similar complaints to Jordan. I bet you it was people that maybe got the game not realizing it was Game Pass, or not Game Pass, sorry, preview, that it's an early access game, although on Steam it does say early.
It's pretty right in your face.
Pretty right in your face. Is it good or bad for the future of Xbox? I think we did a video on our channel, on the XoneBros channel this week, and I talked a little bit about this, that I think it bodes well for the future of Xbox. I think a lot of people are complaining that Xbox doesn't have X, Y, or Z game, and I think those games are coming. I think the single-player, first-person, hardcore PlayStation 5 AAA game, those are coming. We haven't seen anything from the Initiative, and the Initiative is the big boy, right? Like, we haven't seen anything from half of their developers.
I think I know what they're making. Just throwing that out there.
I
have
think
theories. I think I know exactly.
I
what
think
they're
those games are coming, but I don't think Microsoft right now is going to live or die by those games yet, right? Like, I think Grounded proves that. I think games, the name of the game is the game, and the game has to be fun. And what stood out to me with Grounded is it's just fun. Like
yeah,
that.
no, I agree.
It's just fun, and it's a game where, like you said, Spicy and Jordan as well, it screams potential. If you have this kind of game on a Game Pass, it just complements the rest of your library so well. I think it bodes well for Game Pass. Agree? Disagree?
Yo, yeah, sure.
No, I agree with you. I think that, I mean, we all played it all week long. I think the game is really fun and it has a lot of potential. I love the building and survival part of it. Like I said, I think just the only thing I wish, and it might be because it's Obsidian, so maybe I was expecting a little bit more, or like I said, maybe I'm just tired of game preview and early access stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like 9 out of the 10 games I'm playing right now are in early access.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I just wish it was just more completed. I wish there was a little bit more story. I wish the feature set was a little bit more. There's more features I want, but using the invite friends as an example, or even just being able to name your saves or have separate saves for multiplayer and single player instead of putting them all in one. You know what I mean? So I just wish it was a little bit more completed. But that being said, I think it's a good Game Pass edition, and I think it's a really fun survival game.
Yeah. There you go.
No,
I
think there's
finishing thoughts, Spicy.
No, I think we're just gonna, as a preview game, over time we're just gonna get quality of life changes constantly, all the time.
And I do trust Obsidian more than I trust some of the other early access developers.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like they have proven themselves with their pedigree, right? But
other than that, yeah, I think it's a fun game. I've been playing it all week. I kind of with these survival games, I kind of just throw on music or throw on an audio book or whatever, and I just go grind.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a good game. I just wish that I was safe at some place in this world. And there's not. There's no hiding from those spiders. There's
When
no
you're
hiding.
that small, there is probably, in reality, no place safe for you. So.
You appear from just dying, and they destroy you, and all your walls fly up, and all your chests just get destroyed, and all the stuff that you've been putting in there all over the floor, and then you just keep dying over and over.
I would like to see. I think this would be a lot of fun because if you actually look at the map's already fairly decently sized, right? I would in the future like to see, and this may or may not ever happen, and if it does, I think it's a long way off. But I would like to see I guess you'd call it a PvP type server, but a server where there's other players that you have to worry about.
You want
know what
Ark.
I mean? Yeah. Well, Ark in the backyard, right? But I think that would be cool, and you don't have to have it. You can have private worlds, but I think having that maybe. I don't know. You don't have to make it huge. Maybe make it, 8 players. I don't know, something like that. But having other players to worry about, that I think that'd be kind of fun in this game.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. Let's bring it to the next news story. Thank you very much, Z Capitan, for writing that in. Next news story, Jordan. I believe it's a Halo news story.
Yeah. Did you guys
that
hear
got.
what happened?
Oh yeah. No,
So
did we?
Halo came out. Halo Infinite. The developer Halo, right? Bungie or not Bungie?
343.
Sorry, 343. It used to be Bungie.
Yep.
343. Anyway, they came out with a tweet talking about Halo Infinite multiplayer, and I'm just gonna read the tweet.
So
you can hear it. You can hear it raw. It says, "Halo is for everyone. We can confirm that Halo Infinite multiplayer will be free to play and will support 120 frames on Xbox Series X. More details will be shared later." Right?
Yeah, very exciting.
I'm not surprised by this announcement because I feel like a lot of games are starting to do this. I think Call of Duty kind of led the way.
Great example.
Having Warzone be a free addition to their game. I think it's a good move. It makes me wonder though, what are they gonna do to make up that money? You know what I mean?
Well,
are they still charging $60 for the full game? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
and here's
what?
the thing: it fits. It kind of fits really well if you think about it. Halo Infinite, they had also announced, they talked about it this week as well, that it's the 10-year project for them, right? So in the same way that Destiny was this 10-year project, right? And it didn't quite
Turned
work
out
out
not
because
to
of
be.
Activision. But Destiny 2 definitely looks to be on that path. Of this 10-year perpetual project. I think having their multiplayer mode be free to play ensures that that you're doing this two thing, right? Like you're constantly expanding Halo Infinite campaign mode, the world, DLC, whatever Infinite means for the campaign series. But alongside of that, in between, you can maintain a player base.
Yeah.
Because it's free to play, it will ensure that between PC and the Xbox, you will always have a solid player base. It won't die off.
Yeah.
And then as Halo Infinite continues to be infinite, players will be coming and going and experiencing the campaign from there.
So essentially, you'll be buying single player expansions, stuff like that,
Yes.
which will all be playable,
Or you'll have the Game Pass.
which I assume will all be playable co-op and all that stuff, right?
Or you'll have the Game Pass.
Yeah.
Or you'll have the Game Pass.
Yeah. So, well, what I thought about is what are they gonna do? I mean, I don't know for sure because I haven't said anything. I'm assuming there's gonna be microtransactions like there is in most games nowadays, right? I wonder how they're gonna do that with the free to play multiplayer. How they did it in Halo 5, I think, was a happy balance. I think it was cosmetics were the only things that you were able to bring into the arena, which was your skill-based matchmaking, which everything was essentially on an even playing field. So you got cosmetics from, like, what do they call them, rec packs and stuff in Halo 5. So you can get a cool helmet and put it on, stuff like that. And then, like, your different power level guns and warthogs and all that stuff was for the Warzone mode, right? So I wonder if they're going to do something similar or if it's going to be, you know what I mean? I just wonder how they're going to do it or they're going to work it out. And, I mean, they did say multiplayer will be free to play, but is it all multiplayer? Or is it kind of like a Call of Duty thing where just their big Warzone mode is multiplayer?
No, I think
all.
I
think so too.
Yeah, in my mind, when I heard that, I instinctually thought all multiplayer.
Yeah.
I don't see them separating it.
Which
that
will
way.
be really big because if they do Halo multiplayer similar and improve, because I think Halo 5 is the best modern Halo multiplayer. I think it's far superior than Halo 4 multiplayer because of the competitiveness in the arena and breakout mode and stuff like that. So I wonder how they're going to improve on that. And if that mode alone, that competitive multiplayer alone mode, free to play, having everybody having access to it, I mean, I think it can be really big.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think Halo has kind of been knocked around by different people because of the graphic thing, and they have addressed the graphics and said, yes, we're working on that. That's there. But I think we're at this, just like we talked about earlier in the show, where that first year of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 3 games were hammered a little bit. We were at
PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4, yeah, sorry, and Xbox One. We were at this influx point, right, in gaming, and we had these new experiences. I think that's where we're at for Xbox. In that, and chat just said it. Ronan just said it. It is Game Pass.
Yeah,
Game Pass is the most powerful console on the planet. That is Xbox strategy. It's clear strategy. That's why we're seeing this Halo Infinite come about. I think Halo Infinite having continuous support for the next 10 years in development, right? This 10-year project in the same way that the Destiny runs, and it being on Game Pass gets people into your Game Pass and stays in Game Pass, and then you complement that with a free-to-play. I think all these decisions all go into Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I think that there's this issue of people say, well, they don't have any Xbox exclusives. Oh, you're not going to sell consoles. They don't care. For the last time, do you know how many times we get in comments that so many times, or in Twitter, you just see it all the time. It's like, guys, they care about scalability. You cannot scale up consoles. The whole world just can't have a console. The technology isn't there. The funds aren't there. But what you can do is scale up this Netflix-style Game Pass situation where you can stream from Microsoft servers to any device that you have. And every decision, including this Halo Infinite decision, I think
comes from Game Pass.
Comes with that Game Pass direction. So,
yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, it was really cool. I mean, I'm for it. I think. I mean, look at what Call of Duty did, right? It's obviously successful when done correctly, right?
Well, I mean,
I was just curious. I was thinking like, oh, I wonder how, because we haven't heard anything about multiplayer yet. That's obviously details will be shared later, as they said, right? I'm sure they'll have a whole thing on it. But no, I'm just interested to see like what they're gonna do with the quote unquote rec packs, like from Halo 5, if they're coming back. I assume they're gonna have some type of microtransaction in the multiplayer to keep the game going, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of
It's a given with
it's
with
just
single-player
how it
free-to-play
works.
games,
I
so.
mean, whether they have their own version of I mean, even Halo Master Chief Collection has its own version of a battle pass. Now you don't have to pay for it; it's all free, right? But
having said that, with Halo being a first-party title and the concern is Game Pass, do you think with a free-to-play multiplayer that they are even concerned about making money that way? That they're making their money on the back end with Game Pass, or do you think that they will have microtransactions?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear those conversations.
Yeah,
I mean, because what would you rather? I mean, would you rather have a game? Yeah, it's interesting
Because can you imagine if it is free to play, and since it's a first-party studio, they're not concerned with microtransactions or making money on the back end?
Maybe not. I mean, I think the biggest thing is if you're free to play, people are in your game, right?
Yeah, no, that's
I think.
true.
Even if you have someone who's never paid $1 but plays your game every day, right? He's still in your game, not in someone else's game, right? I mean, either way, it works, right? But I'm just really curious. I'm just very curious about their multiplayer this time around. You know what I mean? Because I really enjoyed Halo 5 multiplayer. I think it's the best modern Halo 5 multiplayer. Because I didn't like Halo 4 was just Call of Duty. They were trying to compete with Call of Duty, and that was their mistake, right?
Well, especially with this Warzone 2.0.
Yeah, I'm really curious about Warzone 2.0 because I wasn't I don't think the first
Yeah.
one was bad. It's just not my cup of tea.
Especially with the
even
Halo-
though I was excited for it after.
Especially with the
probably-
Master Chief Pathfinder.
Yeah. They might have to nerf it depending on what map you use, you know. But no, I'm just really excited to find out more about multiplayer. And I'm curious to see what they do. But you bring up a good point. Are they even focused on microtransactions?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you cause a massive shakeup if you have this multiplayer and you're funded because of Game Pass, and you don't rely on microtransactions or even offer them at all. Everything is earnable in multiplayer. That would be this crazy game model. I don't know though.
If they do microtransactions, I would have one suggestion for them, and this is just me. So microtransactions in Halo 5 were the rec packs. You can get armor that you can then bring into the arena. The problem with the armor in the arena is you're defaulted to red versus blue, right? That's their thing. There's the red team and the blue team. Always,
okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
So even though you changed your armor, with it being in first person, you're not really seeing it. And all the other team is seeing there's a blue guy.
Sure, yeah.
Let's shoot him, you know what I mean? So what I would ask, if they do cosmetics like that, because I assume there's going to be red versus blue. There always is, right?
Yeah.
If they're going to do cosmetics for microtransactions in Halo Infinite, right, and it is going to be, cosmetic stuff like everybody else is doing, I think they should do it more like Halo 3, where you had like the samurai, stuff that's more noticeable. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I make my character look super cool, and I do all my color palette and everything, because you can do that in Halo 5. And then when you go into team games like Breakout or whatever, it's just kind of washed out because it's red versus blue, right? So
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would love to. I just would really love my samurai armor back from Halo 3, because I thought that I think it was some people liked it, some people didn't, but I thought it was cool.
Who doesn't want to be a samurai? Master Chief? Why not?
Anyway, that's just my. But who knows? Maybe they won't even worry about that, and they'll just have regular old multiplayer. I don't know.
Next news story.
Can I add one thing, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to add one thing. As far as like cosmetics and stuff like that, what works, what doesn't. Jordan brought up a good point. One of the reasons I had a hard time with Apex purchasing things, and I think it's a limitation just with first-person shooters versus third-person shooters, is the fact that you can't see what you buy.
Yeah.
Right? So if I were Halo or the Halo developers and I wanted to have a first-person shooter where you could see stuff, obviously Halo was great, where you can like rip off the guns and still see third-person stuff, occasionally, or in the vehicles. But if you could get different skins for your HUD, I think
that would be
That's a cool idea.
I think that's how you can see what you buy.
Well, that's interesting that you say that about Apex as well. Apex is kind of, you can see them slowly adjusting. So, for instance, one thing that a lot of people are running around with because they're freaking cool is the Pathfinder boxing gloves, right? And that's something that's always in front of you that you can see. But yeah, a HUD. That's a really cool idea.
It's something you can see, and you could get some pretty cool ones just to change and you could even say it in the lore. You can say you have like a different Cortana or something that's changing.
Oh well,
this
they've
chip in your
actually.
head.
I actually thought they did a good job. They don't. The lore's already in place for them to do whatever they want with multiplayer.
Sure.
They addressed it in 5. It was actually genius.
Sure. But I think that's a limitation that Apex discovered. And it's just an inherent flaw with first-person shooters. But if I were to be able to see the stuff that I'm buying, like with the HUD and stuff like that. Obviously, the guns. I mean, in Apex, I spent $20 on the 301 carbine, which is like one of my favorite skins of any gun anywhere. Right? So I think it's all about what you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're
Like
right, you're
Fortnite.
right.
Fortnite, it's third person. That's why people are spend so much
Dance and
money
everything.
on that,
On
right?
the
Yeah.
emotes
So
and-
No, but you're right. Weapons is
something else.
like
you can
it's something
see.
else you can do, right? Because my favorite weapon to this day, like you said, the R301 Christmas skin.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money to try and get that thing.
Or you could do things like when you hop on like your tank or something, you can slap a sticker on as you get in.
Do a little jig, maybe.
Yeah,
and then-
maybe slap a sticker, just something that you can see, or when you enter it, I don't know. But that's, I think, really important to get people to spend money on your
No,
game.
I think you're right. So it'll be.
I
interesting to
think
see
I
what
should
they
be a
do.
good. I'd be a good idea guy.
I feel like I would too. I'd just throw them out there.
Yeah, play a game of darts and just put different things on. Let's try that one. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's my feedback on that.
Moving on, PUBG Season 8 is now available. Huge map changes, and they've added a loot truck.
Ooh.
It's a
Loot
truck full of loot. And it's basically what it sounds like. I think that's the
That is hilarious.
biggest part of this pack.
Loot-
For me, anyway, it's a
Calling
loot
the
truck,
calling
right?
the loot truck.
They did make changes to the map. You can see before and after pictures that I'll just let you guys go look up. But Season 8 is available for PUBG. PUBG's still going strong.
Quality game.
And now they got a loot truck, which
Loot
which is
truck.
pretty cool. And then a game we haven't talked about in a while, Paladins. Radiant Star Battle Pass starts on July 29th, 2020, which is, I believe, a couple days ago.
Dude.
So
Yeah.
it's available now, new Battle Pass. I really like Paladins. I think it's a fun game. I think we played a while ago. We haven't played it
'cause
since, but
We were good.
Yeah.
We were like hopped up on Overwatch, and we switch over to that game where every ability is like is an ultimate.
AOE Ultimate.
Yeah.
but
it's
no,
a fun game.
I think this might be another one that may have been overshadowed by Overwatch because it's in the same vein. That they have their differences, of course, but it's similar in they're both similar to each other. But I think it's a fun game. I believe it's free to play because I downloaded it, and you can just go ahead and download it. You can buy the battle passes. But anyway, I think it's a fun game. It's worth a try. Paladins, if you like Overwatch, you'll probably like this game because it's similar. And you'll do really good. We did really. I think what had happened too is we were so pissed from losing in Overwatch, and then we went over to Paladins and won like 7 in a row.
You went over hyper focused and angry.
and we didn't.
Well, because in Overwatch, we were in the mode where you lean forward, and that means you're ready.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
tryharding. And then after playing that game, we kind of leaned back a little bit because we were winning so much. It felt good to finally do that.
It was really fun. But anyway, I think it's a good game. The Battle Pass is now out, or the new Battle Pass is out. David, did you see Red Dead Online?
Yeah.
Got a new update, the Naturalist role, which, by the way, from what I read, is some people like it, some people don't.
So the big complaint over the last couple weeks in the Red Dead community was Red Dead. This is the first update in months. Red Dead Redemption has not had a big.
Well, that's because
major
they're working on the PS5
update.
version of
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, they haven't had, and so a lot of people were basically saying like,
Bazinga.
people were saying I'm leaving this game, I'm leaving online, and I left online for Red Dead Redemption, and you guys know I want Red Dead Redemption Online to be fantastic, and I just think they're in this difficult situation where Grand Theft Auto is just crushing it online so huge for Rockstar, and they just are rolling over there that one, there's not as much attention played to Red Dead Redemption Online, and two, I don't know that the incentive is there, right? And I don't know if they view it as taking away from Grand Theft Auto, or I don't know. I don't know how they view it or what their views on analytics are in there, but Red Dead Redemption Online has just never made it to where I would like it to be, and I stayed on for a while. We all did, hoping that
we
would
did
get
the
there.
alcohol
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, and
What?
just the moonshine.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
And it just never got there. But in this update, this is
Adding legendary animals, hunting.
I know
so-
just from legendary animals alone, I know a lot of people I saw on Twitter are jumping back in to get the legendary animals. Legendary animals in that game are super
Well,
fun
I
to hunt
know
down.
I haven't played it yet, but I would hope and assume they attach cool skins to the legendary animals, stuff like that, right?
You know what Red Dead
I would
2
hope.
Online needs? It needs the DeLorean.
It needs,
Yeah.
well,
Just
so
going through.
so
with-
for
with-
instance, yeah.
with Native Americans running behind.
Yeah.
And Marty McFly just driving as
Yeah,
fast
right,
as he
like,
can.
Back to the Future 3 mode. But I think that is actually you say that as a joke, but I think there's some truth to what you're saying. And we had talked about this at Christmas time. There was no. They added snow. Okay. What they didn't do is let me get Santa's sleigh and drive that around. Let me do stuff. Grand Theft Auto Online, they don't care about maintaining the serious tone. They do hilarious stuff.
Yeah.
They let you do that hilarious stuff. Meanwhile, they do have a sense of realism in the world. They just have these game modes that are completely unrealistic and wacky and off the wall. And these vehicles, right? They're completely wacky off the wall. Why don't you do that? I just don't understand their unwillingness to change that. Red Dead Redemption Online, if it was the zaniest, craziest thing on the world, it would not take away from the seriousness of the campaign. Those are two completely different. Does anybody think Grand Theft Auto Online takes away from the campaign of Grand Theft Auto? It doesn't. No. So I'm really confused at their hesitancy to do that.
And that's the thing. In the campaign, you have this very grounded in reality, Western cowboy, serious game, right? In multiplayer, you're a little bit... I mean, and you don't have to go as far as Grand Theft Auto. You don't have to add Hot Wheel packs and stuff like that and the hamster cages, right? But, I agree with you. Christmas time was just, they added snow. You know what I mean? There was no Christmas event. There was no, if you want it to be an online persistent world, make it an online persistent world. Follow your holidays, do stuff. I mean, what you could do, what I think would be really fun and bring a lot of people back is during Halloween, do a little Undead Nightmare throwback or something like that. You know what I mean? That would be perfect, right? But just
and then the fact that they haven't had an update for months.
Yeah.
So what is all in the Naturalist update here that's coming? We do get the.
So there's the two new people that you meet, the guy and the girl. I don't know their names.
Are they nudists?
Yeah.
They're naturalists.
Yeah. Naturalist. She's kind of like
zany.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I had their names here a minute ago. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No one's gonna remember their names anyway. But you
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're
now that's how you tell a news story.
Yeah.
You know what? It just doesn't matter.
This happened.
All right, whatever. We're just gonna move on.
No, but basically there's the hunter, right? The hunter guy, and then there's the other girl who's more about learning about the animals, discovering them, stuff like that, right? But basically it's the same thing as the other jobs that you have. We'll call them jobs, right? Like the moonshine and stuff like that. You're becoming either I don't know if you get to choose sides or not, but you're becoming a hunter and or a animal knowledge
conservation.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm gonna call it animal knowledge person because I feel like
animal.
Yeah,
animal knowledge person.
So,
I like it.
But they do have a little trailer. It looks fun. I like it. But I feel like there was a lot of complaints because. Or I've seen a lot of complaints. Like one complaint I saw was when you do the hunting, it makes the girl mad because you're killing animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to make the choice. Are you going to go after the legendary animals or are you going to save them?
Yeah.
Right? That's
basically
the choice.
Which, I mean, if you get a cool pelt out of it, I'm going to hat. I'm going to hunt
hunting down legendary animals in that game is so cool. So fun.
The other thing is I think it costs 25 gold. And I have said this before, but I feel like Red Dead Online...
Nickel and dimes you.
Yeah, I really do. Like, it's just...
Here, they didn't figure out their pricing structure correctly, and then they charge you for your Outlaw Pass a lot.
Yeah, a lot
with their in-game currency.
And then they charge you for each DLC. It's just it's a lot of money to be spent.
If you want to cure yourself of syphilis, they bend you over again.
Hey, I see what you did there.
See what I did there? That was good. Yeah. Anyways, Red Dead Redemption.
No, yeah. So I actually just saw this earlier today, but very cool. It's got a new update, the Naturalist update.
Yeah.
Which
I hope that I hope this game one day gets to the same level of Grand Theft Auto Online. I would be back full blown for that.
All right, after
I see what you did there.
After 26
should we pull
years.
this up, Battletoads?
Yeah, after 26 years, we finally have a release date for Battletoads. It is launching on August 20th.
Dirty.
They just came out with their launch trailer today. It looks cool. I really dig the new art style they went with. It's kind of that comic booky, stylized, right?
Like Teen Titan kind of, right?
Yeah. Anyway, really cool. We're watching the trailer live here. I believe in the trailer there is that racing level that everybody talks about so much.
Yeah, level 2.
It was shown at E3.
But very cool. I'm really excited for this. August 20th, we get a Battletoads game.
Dude,
it looks fantastic.
And Spicy, this is one of your favorite games.
Yeah.
of all time, right?
Yeah, it's a game that made me lose a lot of my hair on my head. But
It aged you.
I played this a lot as a kid, and I think I only made it to level 4. So that tells you, I'm sure this game is not going to be as hard as the original, but like, look how smooth everything looks. It's co-op. This is the level right there that we're talking about. That is extremely difficult. I'm excited to play this. Everything on this game, it almost looks like it's like a Mario Party in some of the levels, where it looks like it's just a really good time with your friends.
Yeah.
There's a lot of aspects to this that I really like. There's a lot of humor that you're gonna get. Battletoads humor, which is really fun. If you go through and look at the comments of the YouTube trailer video, the complaint that everyone has is the Dark Queen is not as hot as
As they thought, as she should be.
Well, because like in the 90s, she was like in a black leather swimsuit with muscles, and she's like 3 times your height and everything, and she's basically like this is like 90s video game. She would be the one that steps on your balls kind of thing, right? like I get the complaint a little bit, because she's like supposed to be super hot, and yet she's now just this little teeny. You can see her there.
Yeah.
She's like this little teeny character, right? But to me, it's not about that. It's about a good, fun game.
Well, like you said it best in the trailer. It looks smooth.
It looks
Very smooth.
extremely fun. It looks like there's a lot of like carrot on the stick leveling kind of. They showed their weird menu in a little bit. Just the abilities of all the Battletoads on there. I really dig this art
This
style.
level particularly. This is the racing level, the 3D.
Yeah.
Like, look how smooth. Look how they pop too. It looks really cool.
It's like they took. So the characters are like very cartoony, like 2002 to 2008 cartoon style.
Sure, yeah.
Kind of like Samurai Jack. if you've
Yeah.
ever seen
They
that.
put that on top of like a game with graphics. It's like giving me like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit in the 80s vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous game.
It's beautiful. The color
but
palette.
cartoon, that style of cartoon on the top. If it was what was that 1920s art style game platformer? Cuphead. Yeah. That whole game was that art style. Whereas it's like layering different art styles on top of each other that works really well.
It really does. It makes it pop. So and like you said, it's like this 90s, late 90s, early 2000s cartoon, Nickelodeon, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life cartoon, distinct art style on top of
It looks
this
like
graphical background that just looks good.
really tight gameplay.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. When they announced this, I think we were at E3. It was the Keanu Reeves E3, right?
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
they
this
announced
last one, yeah.
and I went nuts because Battletoads. I love Battletoads.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be completely biased with this because
this
of
trailer.
Well, it does
my
look fun.
It does
childhood.
look fun.
They
Look
do,
how fun that looks with friends.
Yeah. They do talk about reimagining the classic gameplay formula for a new high definition age. So obviously, you're gonna get. I assume
like
your
this
si-
level,
like this level, like
particularly,
you know,
really, at this level
your-
too, really stands out.
Your similar levels, right? You're probably gonna have the obviously the overall story will probably be the same, but it also makes me think maybe they'll add a few new things and stuff like that, right? And obviously, in today's day and age, we'll probably get DLCs and stuff like that, too,
Boom.
right? But anyway,
Very exciting
very
stuff.
cool.
Very exciting stuff.
I'm
August,
excited for this game.
Yep.
I'm definitely gonna be playing
August,
this.
Yeah, so-
August 20th.
You guys want to play with me?
I'm there. I'll play with you.
Yeah.
Because it's 3-player couch
Yeah,
co-op.
done. We'll stream it.
Couch co-op. Yeah, that would be awesome. Couch co-ops don't normally happen anymore. So
No,
Yeah.
it's true.
it's real cool to have that.
So
Yeah.
very cool. Star Wars Squadrons.
Ooh, can't wait for this game.
Yes, this game is only going to be $40.
Ooh, dirty.
Which is really good. And I think, who was it? There was another company that came out this week that said that their games are only going to be $60, which basically, it really makes 2K look stupid.
It alienates 2K.
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
does. Well, and Xbox. Phil Spencer came out and discussed that price point as well. It's very interesting to me. And I think some of the discussions that we had about that $70 price point. There's actually a question today, so we'll talk about that later. But like you said, it kind of keeps them alienated a little
Yeah,
bit.
their CFO Blake Jorgensen came out and talked about talked about why it's going to be $40, and I think this is important. So this is what he said: "Quote: We always look at games and we want to make sure we are providing the greatest value for our players. And games all have different scale, and most of our games right now have a huge scale, right? Probably talking about all their games.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Very
yeah.
good.
We designed Squadrons to really focus on what we heard from consumers, which is one of their greatest fantasies, and that is to be able to fly an X-Wing fighter, a TIE fighter, and to be in a dogfight. And so it doesn't have the breadth of some of our games, but still is an incredible game. And so that's why we have chosen to price it slightly lower to a lower level. End quote. Right. But basically,
Unlike those other guys.
That's
what he
over
forgot
there.
to say.
And then he does say to allow as many people to access this new Star Wars fantasy as possible, right? But anyway, basically, I think that's obviously good. But I think basically what it is they're saying, because I think it's going to have a campaign, right? We know that, and it's going to have the multiplayer. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like you said. It's not to the scope of some of their other big games,
Sure.
right? Like, I don't know, Battlefield, for example, is another EA title, right? Respawn, the one that Respawn just made, which is a really great game. Fallen
Jedi.
Order,
Apex, Titanfall?
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Jedi
Fallen Order. Oh, yeah,
right?
the other one.
The other one they make, right? So I don't know.
What
So
a good developer, if you think about it.
basically, what yeah, basically what this makes me think, and there's nothing wrong with this because I don't mind it at all, because $40 is a good price point. But I think the focus is going to be multiplayer.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think it's probably going to have a good, decent cacampaign.
But I
don't know how long it'll be. Maybe 5 to 10 hours, right? Your typical campaign of a I don't know, maybe shorter. Who knows?
But when you're dogfighting, ideally you want to fight against other people.
yeah.
And that
Well, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe the campaign is a little bit shorter because of that repetitiveness, right?
Sure.
And the real fun comes when fighting other players, because although you can say it gets repetitive, it's always something different because human players are always doing something different. You know what I mean? So anyway, I have no problem with this. I think it's going to be a really fun game. I'm excited for it. When the game was first announced, I made the comment, I don't know how long this game will hold me.
Yeah.
Because even playing in the Battlefront 2, the Starfighter mode, which was really fun, it's not the mode I played the most. You know what I mean? Compared to other. But anyway, I still think this will be fun, right? Especially if they have Kylo Ren's ship.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
That is because you never played as Kylo Ren. I mean, once you play as that guy, you realize what overpowered means.
Moving on to Marvel Avengers Beta.
Ooh.
Or, if you're from across the pond, Beta.
Beta. Marvel Avengers Beta.
I'm just
We're
trying to
multicultural
bring
here.
a little culture
Yeah,
into
we're
the show.
multi- Oh,
really
I'm
good.
trying
Thank
to
you.
bring a lot of
We should
culture.
do we should do a special edition British version of the XoneBros one day.
We'll have Iron
maybe
Brew.
on like
What
Guy Fawkes Day.
What we should really do is just
what we should really do, David.
no, really. What we should do is just go through the world. Like one episode is British.
Oh yeah,
One episode is
Japan.
Japanese. Yeah,
Weebs.
we'd have a
The
we'd have a
Weeb
lot of
edition.
good.
That would be great.
I feel like we
XoneBros Weeb
have
edition.
very good Japanese accents. Then we can
yes.
do like Russian accent.
Shamo Nakamori.
We can have subtitles at the bottom of the. Anyway, Marvel Avengers beta dates for the beta for the Xbox One players can join the open beta on August 21st.
Boom! There you go. That's very
which is
exciting.
very cool. So
and then what I'm curious in this game is, does it live up to? This game is going to be very hyped because it's Marvel Avengers. It's superheroes. Everybody wants to play as it.
yeah.
But does the gameplay live up? This game, I think, for a lot of people is a big question mark when it comes to the gameplay.
This one's going to be exciting because I get the vibe. This is just me. I get the vibe that and I'm strictly talking about the combat, right? I think the combat is a more serious, tighter experience than the Marvel Alliance games. You know what I mean?
It looked like that from the preview that we saw. Spicy.
Yeah.
And it was third person instead of
Yeah.
that over the top.
Yeah.
look.
One, I know it's not the same, but I feel like it's they're kind of taking, like, for example, the reason it feels that way is because of the synergy moves. You know what I mean? And of course, you're fighting with your team in certain missions and stuff like that. But you know how you use the synergy with the shield and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it just feels a little bit more serious. If that,
Sure.
you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm excited for it. There's nothing wrong with superhero
Well,
games.
Superheroes have gotten more serious lately
Yeah, you're right.
because there's a lot more money there now.
Yeah,
I think.
I think that's. It's still going to be a $60 game, I think, this one, though.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, that's serious.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited for it.
I am too.
After watching the gameplay trailer we watched, what was it, like 3 weeks ago, a month ago or so? It got me really, really excited because it felt like each character was being. I mean, we got to see Thor and we got to see Iron Man, and Thor was being like It looked like he was being played differently. He had a different feel because he's being pulled by his hammer, whereas Iron Man, he's being pushed by rockets, and it looked like that gameplay was reflected in that, which means any character you play, even though, like, for example, that's just an example of two characters flying, they'll feel different. Right? And I think the little details like that get me going.
Yeah, you really talked about the Thor camera work when they showed that, and you really appreciated that. And I think that's where, like, if it holds up to what it looks like and the gameplay feels good, I think this game could be something
really big,
special.
yeah.
Something
well,
special.
I'm excited. Really, honestly, I'm excited for the story because I feel like comic book stories in, like, the DC universe or Marvel universe, I'm just gonna say it, controversial here, I feel like a lot of them in video games are better than their movie counterparts.
100% agree.
Like Marvel Ultimate
even in
Alliance,
the comics,
we played. Yeah.
I mean, let's like, if you think about it, they have no excuse to write bad movies. They have so many storylines and so many story arcs.
Oh yeah, for comics,
there's so much good material there.
It's literally
the
a
comic
screenplay.
series is your storyboard. Just stick with it.
It's already storyboarded.
Where they get into trouble is where, for instance, Batgirl, Supergirl. My wife watches those, and she recognizes that they're terrible. Like, she will say, "These are terrible." But I love superheroes so much, I'm watching it. And I'll sit there and watch them with her. And what it is where they get into trouble is there's this arc, there's this comic book storyline that's already there that you clearly have the rights to, or you wouldn't be making this.
Right.
And they go their own path. They loosely stick to the comic book, but these writers take their own path, and it's just like, it's not working,
It's
guys.
like, ooh,
so
you should have turned. Yeah,
I'm
It's not
okay.
working, guys.
I'm okay with a retelling of a character in a different way. I mean, that's what comics do every 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. But don't make it suck. If you guys read the script and go, damn it, just go back to the
Comics,
go back to the comics. You have plenty of good material there.
And then that's not to say that you can't try to do your own thing if it's good, but a lot of times
generally it's not.
Have someone else read your work.
I'll give you a prime example. The Doomsday series in Superman. When Superman dies, I was in second or third grade when that happened, and that comic. I don't know, Spicy.
Yeah.
You were about
I
the same
did
age as
too.
me.
Yeah,
I
remember that.
That-
it is. Yeah.
That comic, when it released, everybody at school had it, and it was a huge deal.
It was a big deal, and then they came out with, like, the novel as well, and I read the novel and everything, and it was big.
It was big.
I actually was like, everyone was like worried about politics, like the teachers,
Yeah.
but us, because there was. It was like an election year when
Yeah,
it came out.
something, I don't know.
And I was like in my childhood going, man, the world is a terrible place. Superman's dead. Like, that shocked me to the core.
Funny enough,
It was so good. But then here's just a prime example, and not that this movie is bad if you like this movie necessarily, but they take the Doomsday storyline and they merge it into Batman, Superman introduction, and it could have been its own 2 or 3 part movie, just the Doomsday story of Superman, and I don't understand why they don't. I mean, they're the experts, not me, but.
Well,
I just remember the feelings.
Experts is loose now.
Yeah. But I just remember the feeling and how crucial and what a big deal that storyline just by itself. Why not just have that as an isolated movie? It would be so badass.
Well, what's interesting about what you said is the Doomsday storyline is good. It's in my top 5. It's up there with like Death in the Family when Joker kills Jason Todd. Right? Like, it's up there with some of my favorites. But I believe.
Okay.
I believe that story arc, the death of Superman, I call it the death of death, because after that, about a month later, they went.
You're not a real comic book character if you haven't died yet.
Yeah. They broke.
Well, no.
they broke
What
the
happened
comic
was,
book
and this
world.
is exactly. No, I think this is what happened in their boardrooms and stuff. They came off this high. They all came back from vacation. They're like, dude, guys, that was amazing. We're the highest sales rate, everything. Because, like you said, they made the novel. They had the special edition print. It was crazy. It was awesome. and then they realized, what do we do now? You know what I mean? And then they wrote the stupid, terrible, what is it, Kryptonian skin cell? Like he was basically taking a nap. He was recharging.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The sun.
Yeah. He basically had to plug. You know, like when your drill battery dies, you got to plug it in overnight. That's basically what he was doing. You know what I mean?
It's a good way to put it.
So anyway, and then after that, it just everybody was dying and coming back to life. I actually think it did more harm than good, to be honest. But it was a great.
But the reason they did it is because of how big of what it did for the Superman franchise.
Yeah. No, I did. It was amazing. It was jaw dropping because your favorite guy died.
And not only your favorite guy, it's Superman.
Someone who was not killable.
Died and left it hanging for a time.
See, that's what I think is missing nowadays is tragedies.
Well, the fear of death. No one can die now in comic books.
I mean, the majority of most people's opinion on Star Wars is Episode 5, right? When the Rebel Alliance loses.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Great, yeah.
It is so...
Because you felt like you lost.
Yeah. It's just like, tragedies are missing in today's movies. I feel.
Well, I think that the argument that why Game of Thrones was so popular is because it had reinvented this. You had main character that right at the end of book 1, you're like, well, he's not going to die. We know what's going to happen. He's going to get out of this somehow, and his head is chopped off.
Having everything resolve in a quick fashion makes it less interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you know, and that's why I think not Endgame, but the Avengers right before when they lose.
Infinity was great,
and and they just disappear,
dude,
and just Spider-Man's laying there. Oh my gosh!
It was so good.
And then it just ends, and you're like,
holy shat hole.
Yeah, that needs to happen more, in my opinion, for a good story.
Okay, let's. What
are we talking about, anyways?
Yeah,
Is this a news story?
Yeah,
Rocket Arena.
Yeah, what do we even?
We got out of comic books.
Marvel Avengers beta.
Marvel Avengers
beta coming soon.
I'm excited.
Yeah. There you go. Rocket Arena.
Hold on. Before we move on, I would argue The Dark Knight was a tragedy.
Sure. Yeah.
As well.
But those were good.
That was made it so good.
If you think about it, at the end of the Dark Knight, because there's Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, he technically lost.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. The Joker won.
The Joker.
It's so good to have tragedy stories. I mean, Shakespeare wrote plenty of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and the thing is,
I would say, isn't he like the Godfather of English? You know what I mean? Like,
he's the Godfather of stories.
Yeah.
Well, that's where to have a good hero, you need a good bad guy. And if you don't have that, if there isn't this evil out there to be fighting, and that was the problem I think that a lot of people had with the last Avengers, is there was no power structure. Like,
correct.
Everybody, I was confused at who was powerful, who wasn't powerful. Even Thanos in the first one is like this unbeatable dude, and then in the follow up,
he goes through.
He was beat so easily.
He goes through 16 movies to get the gauntlet. There's a whole bunch of problems with that. I won't.
Yeah, I think that was one of the issues that people had with that movie. Who had some criticisms for that movie. Whereas, like A Dark Knight, the Joker was legit.
No, well, that story has been done a million times, but I love it every time because the bad guy and the good guy are so opposite, and they're so. It's just such
and one can't exist without the other. I think that's
That's honestly because of Batman is one of my favorite characters because of Joker, and Joker is one of my favorite characters because of Batman. Right? So
yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't know.
I'm just throwing my hands up in the air. I don't even know.
People are in chat. We're talking about the beta. I don't know. Did we even say the release date, or did we get sidetracked? The beta.
Sorry, everybody.
On PC and Xbox will be on August 21st. So not too far away here.
Thanks for keeping us.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping us in line. Hold on 1 second before I move on, because I am enjoying the comic book discussion. What comic book story / character has not been done that you would like to see done? Can I tell you mine?
In like the big screen,
like, on a big screen movie or an HBO miniseries type of deal.
Done well. Can I add that to it?
Obviously, assume that it's done well. But because there's so many superheroes out there that haven't been done. I'll tell you one storyline that I think would be very cool. I really like the DC versus Marvel storyline. I had those comics. Those comics were super cool.
Yeah.
They were a little bit flawed, but I think seeing that on the big screen,
I don't think you could do that.
I don't know how you would do that. You'd have to do something crazy with
Well,
licensing
Disney.
rights.
I guess Disney's buying everybody
Disney
now.
will just buy Disney will just buy make a deal with WB and go from there.
Who might be? Oh, never mind. Never mind.
But another one that a superhero that I've always loved and has just been the epitome of cool, and he showed up as a character briefly in the Fantastic Four, but Silver Surfer. I would love to see a proper Silver Surfer.
I really like him
done.
too.
He is so. I mean, there's a reason he's cool because he's freaking
Well,
cool.
on the flare cards, did you ever collect the flare cards of all your
no,
superheroes?
I never did. No,
He was 7s across the board. That mofo was powerful.
dude. And remember, is it Fantastic Four that he's?
That's the storyline that he
comes in
normally
at the-
comes through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he comes in at the end there in the movie, and even in that movie, you're like, oh, Silver Surfer.
yeah, I love Silver Surfer,
I would like to see a Silver Surfer.
and that character is tragedy. Like his whole storyline is sad. Right, you're right.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Anyways, what about you?
I would like to see one of my favorites is Batman Death in the Family is kind of the it's where the Joker kills Jason Todd, the second Robin, not Death of the Family, which is the new one they just did, but anyway, Death in the Family, right? Not necessarily that one, but I'd like to see the whole story arc of that because a lot of people like Dick Grayson as Robin because I feel like Dick Grayson is kind of your beacon of light Robin, right? He becomes his own superhero later, right? I like the Jason Todd Batman storyline because Jason Todd was a nobody. You know what I mean? He was this kind of street rat type of character, right? Batman took him under his wing, trained him how to be Robin. I like the dynamic between those two. I like Jason Todd as Robin because he was imperfect. There was times when he went too far and Batman had to say, no, this is why we don't go too far. You know what I mean? And then obviously it leads up to the end of Death in the Family where Joker kills Jason Todd with a crowbar. But anyway, I think I just like Jason Todd is my favorite Robin because of he's a person, right? I feel like he's a normal person. He's imperfect.
a human.
He's
a
imperfect.
humanoid.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
And I feel like him and Batman make a good compliment to each other. Anyway, I would like that whole storyline done well.
Yeah.
Caveat done well.
Done well.
Yeah,
done
obviously,
well.
obviously.
Right?
Spicy.
Anyway, that would be
I saw
mine.
you write down a couple there.
I was writing down so I didn't forget. So there was a movie made,
Yeah.
but it wasn't the best. But I actually really like Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah, and dude, who doesn't want a flaming head on a motorcycle?
Nicolas Cage.
Dude.
Flaming, yeah, that's the movie. Ghost Rider. I had so many of those comics. I loved Ghost Rider. He was a badass from hell. Yeah, literally, a badass from hell. I like Nightwing, kind of a thing.
Dick Grayson.
Yeah,
There you
that
go.
would-
Yeah,
that's a
Nightwing's
great
a good
one.
one. Yeah.
But I think my answer that I don't think there's been a movie yet, but Batman 2099. I think his character and just the time, in the future.
Is that Terry, like Batman Beyond Terry, or is
No,
this,
it's
its own-
like
it's a
future.
different-
Yeah,
okay.
like I don't know. I think I just like his Batman suit in that
Yeah.
one, and he could just, that scene where the new animated Spider-Man movie where he's like
Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse where he's jumping down and it's like upside down, and it's like that. You know what I'm talking about? Have you in the
Yeah,
movie?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know where the buildings are on the opposite side, and he's just
Inception.
no,
Kinda.
not Inception. He's just jumping down. It's just a cool scene. I'll pull it up in a minute. But that's like every shot in the comics of Batman 2099. Because
And here's the thing with these movies that you bring up a good point. It doesn't need to be live action. If you did it like Into the Spider-Verse, that movie was so good.
That's a great
I would be
movie.
down with some animation.
Yeah.
It
Well,
could
they
be
do a lot of
animation.
good. I think actually the animation ones are good.
They
Like,
have some of the
did-
best storylines.
They did. Speaking
for
of
sure.
Jason Todd, they have one. I think. Yeah. Anyway, they have one called Into the Red Hood, which is a Jason Todd storyline, which was actually really good. I'm not a fan of the whole death is not permanent thing, but whatever. I mean, it was still a good storyline, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, this is an Xbox podcast,
Yeah.
so let's get back to
Yeah.
Xbox.
Well, you asked.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Rocket Arena Season 1.
Rocket Arena Season 1 releasing its Blast Pass is what they call it.
Sorry, Daredevil. I know that Netflix did a really good one, but that's one of
theirs
my
was actually good.
that's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Back to you, David.
Yeah.
Daredevil. Hold on. Does chat know about my experience with Daredevil?
Oh, sorry. Chad is right. It's under the Red Hood, not
I don't.
into
I
the
don't
Red
think.
Hood.
I don't think I've ever shared my romance with Elektra that I had
Oh,
Oh,
you met her in
you
real life.
met
Yeah, in
her.
real life.
I was on the set.
While she was actually Electra.
She was Electra. She.
This is the 2007 movie, right?
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
2000,
Ben
I think it
Affleck?
would have been 2005-ish.
Okay, yeah.
2005-ish. I was on the set of Electra. Had lunch.
With Electra herself. And her sister.
And her little girl,
person,
the little
right?
girl in that movie.
I
who-
feel bad. No one
who
remembers.
totally wanted me, by the way.
I'm sure. Electra did, or the little girl?
Yeah, who plays Electra again? Jennifer. What's her
Jennifer
name?
Gardner.
Jennifer Gardner. That's right. Jennifer.
You
Gardner.
met her.
She. In fact, I should.
At
bring,
the time, she was Alias.
I should bring the picture of her and put her
Yeah,
back
she
here
signed it
on the
for
wall
you.
for
She
us.
signed it.
She signed.
And it's a good
autographed
picture of
the
her.
picture of Jennifer Garner. This was before her and the Ben Affleck romance. She told me wait for me.
The 13 going on 30 years,
This
right?
was the 13 going on 30 years. Yeah, she was wait for me, and I said okay, I will. She was busy filming this movie, but then Ben Affleck swooped in and stole that romance
And
right
said,
off
hey,
one of
I
my
can
nose.
be Batman.
No, fun fact. I was on the set. I was on the set for that. I had the opportunity. I knew the producers of that movie, and so I was on the. I got to go on the set of that, and it was super fun. There all day. Had lunch with everybody, and super cool. I've never seen the movie.
It's actually.
I heard it sucks.
Yeah.
Well, because
But
there's reasons. To
yeah, but I enjoyed my time with Jennifer Garner.
I mean, why?
She's
How
a-
could you not?
She's a crush that I have. In that same. This is when I was living in British Columbia, and a lot of movies are filmed in British
Up
Columbia.
north.
Up north.
Our
They call it
northern-
North. They call it North Hollywood, actually.
Our northern friends.
And that's where Electra was filmed in British Columbia. There. I also.
And every other movie.
I also got to go golfing with Samuel L. Jackson as well.
Whoa! I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
and didn't you meet the Beast from Sandlot?
Oh yes.
You
and-
like sat next to him.
Yeah. No.
I had lunch with him.
I have a picture.
He's got a crush on me.
That dog, my head can fit inside that dog's mouth.
Well, he's
It
the
is a
beast.
It's huge.
Have you seen what he does
And
to
then
baseball?
The lady that raised that dog for the Sandlot also then breeded it, right? So its children.
David was sitting right there. That's what David went to.
Yeah, that's actually why he went there.
Yeah, its children.
Watch.
Fun story. Its children were just as big and or bigger than that dog. One of the dogs, they made the mistake of tying it up to
Genetically
the
enhancing
deck
it.
outside, pulled down the whole. Those dogs
Pulled down the deck?
Those dogs are 325 to 350, 360 pounds lean.
Of pure power.
And they do use them. They're show dogs. They use them for show and for movies. So they're those things. You want a dog that's gonna. Now, if someone kicked that dog, don't blame you at all. That is a dog that you would. That dog is giant.
The
That
dog would
thing
probably
comes
kick
running
you.
at you. Oh yeah, if you kick that dog, it could eat you. That's like a dire wolf. When I think of a dire wolf, that's a dire wolf. Anyways, there you go, guys. I don't think we've ever revealed that on the show. That Jennifer Garner, maybe we have on the early episodes.
Is in love with you.
Jennifer
Yeah.
Garner and I had a little
Fling.
tryst there one afternoon.
Also, he,
I can't confirm
Bred
or
the
I
beast.
can't confirm or deny this.
And on the same day, he bred
I
the
can't,
beast.
I can't.
from
I
Sandlot.
I cannot confirm or deny this, but she may or may not have invited me back to her trailer, and we may or may not have made love.
Maybe she listens.
That's what you should title this podcast. Did X1 the gamer make love with
With Jennifer Gardner.
question mark?
I cannot confirm or deny it. That's all I could say. I cannot.
Anyway, so Rocket Arena Season 1 is
got
now
some Xbox
available. So they have the Blast Pass, which is just their version of the Battle Pass. Comes with a ton of, I think it was 33 cosmetic, ton of stuff, right? Very cool. It comes with a new free character as well, and then I believe a free map as well. But it is available now for everybody. It started on the 28th, which was just a couple days ago. But Rocket Arena.
Boom.
I
There you
actually
go.
believe Rocket Arena is on sale right now, too.
There you go.
Also, to round off the news, Xbox is doing what they call the Summer Spotlight 2020. Basically, it's just a bunch of games coming out over the summer, right? There's a lot of games coming out. I won't go through the whole list, but there's a lot of them on there. There's Yakuza, one of the Yakuza Kiwami 2 is one of them, right? There's a ton of them, right? But anyway, what they're doing is if you buy a game that releases during the Summer Spotlight, they're giving you different rewards. Spend $50 on an eligible game and you'll receive 5,000 Microsoft reward points and get a $5 gift card. But if you're a Game Pass Ultimate member, you'll receive a $10 gift card, right? So they're doing different things, just kind of your summer hoo-ah, I guess.
Hurrah.
But
nice.
Anyway, a lot of games coming out. Ones that I actually pop out to me are SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. That is actually, I played that game on the GameCube. It is actually a really fun platformer. It's like a 3D platformer, right? Like you're moving forward instead of side to side. But anyway, it's actually a really fun game. Another one was Yakuza Kiwami 2 is another one. We also have Skater XL, which is your skate simulator, which is really cool. A lot of one that I actually think Mark would enjoy heavily is one called The Tourist, spelled with a Y.
Tourist.
But that one actually looks really quite fun. But anyway,
Why would I like it? Why do you say that?
pull up the trailer. Let's watch it.
Oh.
It's really hard to describe.
Fair enough.
But
I can
you're
do that.
a tourist and you go through and do touristy things. But the game, I actually think we would all love it.
How do you
it's not
spell
just
this?
TOURYST.
TOURYST.
Just do trailer. No, the art style is really cool. I actually think we'd all like it. I don't know why I'm singling out Mark, but
Oh, because I like games.
yeah, you like games.
Can I
Yeah, just do the Nintendo Switch trailer. Who cares, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Throwing this up, The Tourist with a Y.
Yeah, so it's
Oh yeah, I remember. We saw this. So
yeah,
while ago.
it's a
remember
really
this?
cool. It's coming to the Xbox. So it's basically there's puzzles. You're basically a tourist trying to complete all
this
these tasks.
It has this really cool artwork. It almost looks Lego-ish
Yeah.
in a way, and just really good art style. I like it. Like you could go play arcades.
Play games. You're literally on vacation.
That was that F1's?
I think it
It
was.
looked. Well, I don't.
But that's
wasn't.
probably
It
because
looks
it's for
a
the
lot like
Nintendo.
F10, right?
Yeah.
I want to see that. Hold on. Let's see that. Bob.
Bob is the high score. Yeah, it's not F10, but it looks
okay.
it looks
Similar,
like it
yeah.
for sure.
But it's a lot of, you do a lot of touristy things, but there's puzzles involved. It looks actually like a really fun game. So.
It really does.
But anyway, it's one of the games
I like the art
coming
style.
out. I believe it comes out between July 28th and August 3rd, if it's not already out. I don't know if it's out right now or not, but it comes out between 28th and the 3rd. But anyway, Summer Spotlight, if you buy a game, you get rewarded with Microsoft points
There
and
you
gift
go.
cards and stuff
And
like that.
that brings us to the last segment of our show. This is the segment of the show where we take your questions. To submit a question, you can do so each and every single week over on Patreon, patreon.com/positive gaming or XoneBros.com/support. Our first question comes from the man Quick Trigger.
Ooh.
Quick Trigger says, Quick Trigger here. As excited as I am to play a Viking in Valhalla,
Ah.
I feel the Assassin's Creed franchise has really let us down the past few games, getting further and further away from stealth and actual assassinations. On top of this, all the recent controversies with Ubisoft, I'm not sure I want to support them. What are your thoughts on Assassin's Creed? Let's take the first part of this question. The Assassin's Creed franchise getting away from the core Assassin's Creeds. I do think there's a give and take there. I think there's some good about it, and I think there's some bad about it. I think the good about it is we're away from Abstergo, which outside of Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, that storyline in 1 and 2, that storyline was fantastic.
Yeah, 1 through 3, I think.
Yeah, even 3. Outside of that, I think that storyline, they were tied to that storyline and they tried to force it into games and it just didn't work for me. I haven't been into Assassin's Creed since Black Flag. Black Flag was the last one I was like, okay, I'm done. This is the same thing we've seen. I like this new direction myself, and I know if you're a hardcore Assassin's Creed fan, you might not like this direction if you want that original stealth, hunt down someone, hide in the crowd, and then assassinate them. That this is different, and it still gives you the option to do that. From my understanding, I haven't played Origins or Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's just not as encouraged or as apparent as in the previous the original Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, no,
correct?
especially in Odyssey. I mean, yeah, you can try. But anyway, basically, I think we actually talked about it. When playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it actually wasn't an Assassin's Creed game. It just kind of had the title. I actually don't think you really even talked about Assassins unless you bought the DLC that came out a couple months later. But
Well, there's
it
that.
very lightly hinted in certain areas of it. But that game, I feel like, was more of a just go out and do what you want,
Go out and
murdering
murder.
people. Yeah. And fight Medusa.
I'll be honest. I really, really like the new ones a lot.
Yeah, because they're not.
They're
they're
because they're fun.
Uh.
You know, I get that it's not like that Splinter Cell style sneak and if you don't sneak, there's no you fail the mission basically, right?
Which the first ones, that is what made the first ones really good and iconic.
Well, yeah, the blending in, so yeah.
But at the same time, they still give you your assassin ability tree in your skills tree that you can just level up. And I love stealth games, and I always play these games as a stealth objective,
Sure.
And even the Far Cry games, if I don't take out a town where I have perfect stealth, I'll reload my save game and try it again, right? So I get it. I get the stealth involved. And every time I've played these new versions of these games, the Egypt, what was the Egypt one? Assassin's Creed Origins. That was the first real shift.
Yeah.
And Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I built my character out to go stealth, and you can still play that way. It's just there's a lot more freedom involved to do whatever you want and to create scenarios that are hilarious and all that. So I would say that the Assassin's Creed franchise, in my opinion, this may be controversial, but I think they've improved as far as fun.
Sure.
Because you can play the stealth way.
Does it stick to, as far as story goes, especially on these later ones, is it more of just a nod to the past?
I think they put the
Assassin's Creed, or is the
I
story
feel like
just completely different?
Now I haven't played the DLCs of Odyssey, which I do know actually gives you a little bit more assassin-y stuff, but I feel like they throw in Abstergo because they have to, because it's like
I mean,
tied,
they were still there. It's part like in Odyssey, you had when you went to go main story, you still had that spear that lady was in the. I don't know if you guys did that. You went in down and then she was like for Abstergo stuff.
The Spear of Leonidas.
Yeah, the Spear of Leonidas, where they're using artifacts to get the Abstergo data, and that's they bent it in that way. But it was really brief, and it didn't.
It feels like loosely Assassin's Creed title. As far as story goes.
Yeah, but you still have the same style.
Yeah.
As far as the looks, they always have that hood and
Correct.
stuff. I would say that this one, the Valhalla one, looks like it's going to be more of a hybrid of past and Odyssey.
Yeah, one of the things that they did show off was actually merging into that
Blending?
crowd.
Correct.
Yeah, like you used to do
and
with the
stuff.
monks and
That's
stuff.
what I was
Yeah,
going to say.
yeah.
That where you did that. And maybe that's going to be back in multiplayer if they add that again. Because I actually really liked the multiplayer. Was it Brotherhood or was it?
It was 3.
3 that
I think
allowed
it was either Brotherhood or Revelations. I think it was Brotherhood that came first.
Yeah.
I think it was
Anyways,
Brotherhood,
to answer your question, I actually really like the new ones. I think they're very fun, and I think you're going to get more nods to the previous ones as well because we did see the blending and stuff. But at the same time, I think it's still going to be open world, and you're going to have a level system that's been revamped and everything. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah,
me
can
personally.
I just say I'm very excited for. I haven't played Assassin's Creed again since Black Flag. Black Flag kind of it was too fetch questy for me and just turned me off. And then the subsequent games I just never got into. You guys have raved about Odyssey and Origins.
Well, it's just because you just murder people.
And for me the thing there was just timing for those games. Why I didn't get into them because of open worlds. I only have so much time for open world games in my life. This one I'm making time for, Valhalla. This one I really like. I just like the style that it's going in. I do get the impression that it is a loosely tied Assassin's Creed title as far as lore and story goes.
Quick Trigger is actually in chat, and he says, "I don't like no more one-hit kills."
Interesting.
Yeah, for like the assassinations.
Yeah.
Because they are correct. If you sneak up and assassinate someone, I think, do any of them die first? I think they do, like if they're peons, right?
Sure.
No,
But then there's-
yeah, you can kit things out, and it can get really, really powerful. You can't one-hit kill people that are 5 levels higher than you.
Maybe that comes back in Valhalla though.
But you can, like, the spear, like in Odyssey, I leveled up just pure stealth kills. And I was pretty much one-shotting anybody I looked at, and they exploded.
But
So-
they were within your level range, right?
Yeah, well, at least up to like 4 higher.
But it did require you to level up just the stealth kill ability.
Which
tree.
is, I would assume, if you want to play stealth, that's the tree you'd level up, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't
Interesting.
know.
Interesting. Regardless, I'm very excited to get back into it. I know that there has been some changes, so I get if people are hesitant, particularly if you've been with the franchise from the beginning. That makes sense to me. Anyways, great question, Quick Trigger. Can I say something controversial?
Yes.
I said this on Twitter.
Hey, we've all
Can you hit the controversial button for me?
Yes. It would be this one, I believe.
I posted this on Twitter, and I was actually surprised at how many people didn't rip me a new one. It was about 50-50. Unpopular opinion, I'm more excited for Valhalla than Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah. I actually saw that tweet, and I thought you were an idiot.
And the reason is not that I'm not looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077, but Valhalla gives me this impression of simplicity, of just being able to jump in, do a couple raids, have fun murdering people, and then jumping out. Whereas Cyberpunk 2077,
I still feel like you can murder people.
Oh, no doubt that you can, but it feels like if it's anything like The Witcher 3, and it sounds like it's going to be Witcher 3 on steroids, to even get into a halfway experience, starting to get merged into that game, right? To really lose yourself, you're looking at least 10 to 15 hours just to get to that point, right? Like that's which is good, which is really cool. But I do think I'm just at a point in my life where that simplicity that I saw with Valhalla appeals to me more.
No, and I've actually, because we had the discussion and I asked the question, why would they release so close to Cyberpunk, right? Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. This is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You just ignored your wife.
Yeah, well, she knows where I'm at.
And he is making a point right now. He's in the middle of a sentence.
No, we talked about, because I was like, oh man, why are they releasing there? I mean, after actually your tweet and comments and seeing other people, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that are excited for Valhalla, which I am too. I mean, Vikings. I mean, it's a cool setting.
I think everyone's excited for both. They both look like fantastic games.
It's just kind of because there's a lot of people out there that aren't gonna be able to buy both, right? Because you're talking about two $60 games. I think it just depends on what you're. I mean, if you're oh my gosh,
what you're looking for.
Yeah, if
she might be watching you.
Yeah, you might need to take that call. Make your point and then get out of here.
Basically, what I'm saying is, I mean, I think your hardcore Assassin's Creed fans are obviously going to go for Assassin's Creed. Like me personally, I am invested with CD Projekt Red. Like I think Witcher 3, in my opinion, is one of the greatest games ever made. It's my favorite game. I really like what they did, and having that, obviously they've updated engine, newer stuff, just the setting alone of Cyberpunk, right? Yeah. Like personally, I'm more excited for that. But your tweet, it was very fascinating seeing everybody. It was like
a 50-50 draw, which surprised me.
I will be honest, it is more split than I thought it was, because I thought more people would lean towards Cyberpunk, but I think it's just
having said that, when I said it's a 50-50 split, that's obviously a very small sample size. It's a 50-50 split on people who responded to me, and it's either you're dumb or I agree with you, right? And that surprised me. I thought I would get more like that's a foolish statement.
Here's my opinion.
Go ahead.
Assassin's Creed games come out every 1.8 years. CD Projekt Red games come out twice in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
And it really is. They have the pedigree of making the best games ever made.
I'm planning on playing Witcher 3 in retirement.
Wait, you haven't even. That's why you have only played the Baron level.
Cyberpunk. I mean, I played the first 15 hours multiple times.
I know. That's why. That's why you haven't tasted the food. You've just been like.
But see, I want to just be able to jump in, get my meal, and jump out. Right? Like this is. I've got to go in.
Yeah.
I've got to
stop restarting your game.
I've got to go in. First, I've got to go to the grocery store, pick out the food. No, first I got to put together a grocery list. Then I got to go to the store, pick out the food. Then I've got to come home and shuck the corn. Then I've got to bring the water to boil, get all my plates out, cook the food.
Throughout that whole thing,
before I get to actually enjoy the
throughout
food.
all those errands that you're doing throughout that day, you are being pleasured. So why is that a bad thing?
No, and I agree that that's a good thing. But I just think I wonder if simplicity. I know in my life I just think simplicity. In fact, even thinking about Red Dead Redemption 1 versus Red Dead Redemption 2, I would like to go back and play Red Dead Redemption 1 again, because I think it was a more simple game, and that was to its credit. Whereas Red Dead Redemption 2 was a more complex game, which there's something to be said about that.
To its credit.
Which is to its credit, yeah. But I think, which one is better at this point? there's something to be said about the simplicity of a game that enables you to jump in and enjoy it.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, like
immediately.
we talked about with Grounded, I love the fact that the survival elements of eating, drinking, health, and stamina is it, right? It's just it's simpler, right? You know, anyway.
Anyways, there we go. That was just
No, it's an
off track
interesting,
there.
interesting.
Last question comes from Styx Remix. He says, "Hey, bros. A new console will be launching soon. Development costs have the potential of increasing. Obviously, we're seeing this with the rumor of $70 games. What do you think this will mean for AA or indie developers? Will we see a lot of these companies die off like the big fallout around the 2010-ish era, or will we see more consolidation with the big three acquiring these studios? With the advent of Kickstarter, Patreon, etc., these smaller companies have more ways to find private funding, but do you think that this is sustainable in the new generation?" Thoughts on that? We kind of started talking about this before the show. One of the points that we had brought up was, or not even before the show, but even in the news segment there of games announcing that they will maintain $60 or $40.
a lot, yeah.
and
a
that
lot. I mean,
kinda-
it's really only the 2K people. That
Yeah,
are
and that
I mean,
kind of
maybe there'll be more.
That kind of does
I don't know.
alienate 2K with their NBA 2K series, where they announced that it will be a $70 game. And my problem with 2K right off the bat was they already have a microtransaction, which is very, very
Yeah.
fruitful for them and profitable for them. And that's where, if you're going to argue the development costs, you've already figured out a way to recuperate those development costs and thrive. And also, I don't know. I actually don't think we're going to see $70 games is what it's coming down to, is what I'm trying to say here. I don't think the justification is there. A lot of podcasts that I listened to, a lot of journalists dug in and really researched what are the profit margins. The profit margins in 2019 are higher than they've ever been for gaming. And so, yes, games might cost more, but like Spicy said, your player base is bigger. They're digital copies. They're not hard copies of games. Your profit margins are higher than they've ever been. So I just don't know that the $70 game price point is justified at this point. And I also just don't think that developers are willing to take that chance. Take-Two has done it, and they're really the only ones at this point that have done it. And you'd think you would have seen more already. Now maybe I'm wrong, and by the end of this next generation we'll get there. But I just don't see it. I don't think there's. I think there might be a will from developers, and they're going to try to get as much money as they can. That's the nature of a free market society, and more power to them, especially if the market says that is appropriate price to pay. But I don't know that we're there yet.
No, I don't really, especially after seeing, other people not do it.
Yeah.
I
Other
don't
people not do
think-
it, and then even heads of, Phil Spencer and Xbox, encouraged game developers not to do it. I mean, it's up to you,
Yeah.
but we,
Well, and then just the recent announcements of Halo multiplayer being free is another
and-
thing. Like,
and-
hey, we're not charged. They're not trying. I mean, I don't know how much the campaign will be, but
Not
I
only-
assume it won't be.
Yeah, not only that, but you do have the Game Pass, and you've got to assume that PlayStation is working on something similar. You've got EA Access there. You've got different way high value options at a much
I mean,
smaller
I think
price.
we'll have a clearer picture once we get maybe 2-3 years into this next
agree with that.
generation, right? Because
Yeah.
then you'll see. But I don't think, like you said, the profit margins are huge. I don't think it's going to be a mainstay thing, right? As for the second half of the questions, I also don't think indie studios are really going anywhere.
No.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
That part of the question. So he says we will see a lot of these companies die off like big fallout around 2010. I would actually, as far as my experience, 2010, maybe there was a lot of developers that kind of crashed and burned, but that I feel was the time period of Hotline Miami, Super Meat Boy, Devolver Digital going in and taking, adding a lot more people to. I feel as though that is almost the golden era.
What preceded it?
Afterwards,
yeah.
After that is kind of.
Because
think
that's what you also got Xbox Arcade that came out,
Yeah,
which really
I think-
helped out indie
I think
developers.
around that-
You also got Steam.
Yeah.
Remember where indie developers.
Well,
could come out
that's
too.
what I'm gonna say is I think that solutions to publishing became much more viable to indie developers at that time period. Maybe because of that crash, but I really feel like today indie companies, indie developers have more power at their fingertips than they've ever had before
I agree.
for self-publishing, for using engines like Unreal, using and Unity and all these game engines that are just almost freely available to people, right? So
and not to mention all the new publishers that you have for specifically like indie style games. Like you take a game like Rocket Arena, who was a self publisher before, but then got themselves into the EA Originals publishment, right? So then you have Xbox. What's Xbox version for their indies?
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Xbox.
The guy wears the shirt.
Yeah, he's actually one of the greatest guys ever. Oh, what's the name? Is it called Xbox Indie? No, what is it called?
I can't remember.
Xbox, but Xbox has their own version, right? You have like you said with using the Unreal Engine, right? It's no upfront cost. It's only if you make money type thing, right? I think technology today makes it easier for people to get started at home type thing, right? And become
ID.
Yeah. ID at Xbox. There it is. Yeah, ID at Xbox.
That's what we couldn't remember.
Yeah, ID at Xbox. Yeah. And then so in nowadays we have all that ID at Xbox, EA Originals. I think Ubisoft is doing some indie stuff too. But even if all that wasn't still here, you still have the king of being able to publish yourself to Steam very easily. You know what I mean, on PC to get your game out there and stuff like that, right? So I mean,
yeah, and now Epic is making a push.
Yeah, exactly.
Too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, with the Epic's Game Store and all that stuff. So I think I agree with Mark. There's more avenues nowadays than there was
at their fingertips than they've ever had before.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Great question. Thank you very much, Styx Remix, for writing in. Appreciate it.
Good questions today.
Great questions today. That actually does us for today.
Still kind of a long episode. Actually.
Yeah, we've just been talkative the last couple episodes.
Well, we did have that 40-minute bracket of just
Superheroes.
complaining about movies and TV shows, but saying how awesome comics were, right?
It's true. Guys, thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you very much for the support. It is our 1 month anniversary since moving over to YouTube. If you haven't yet, head over to YouTube and join us there. That's where we moved from Mixer. That's where we stream the show live every single Friday. If you join as a membership, you get access to emails. It's $4.99, the same as it was over on Mixer. It's a great way to support the show. So come join us. You also get loyalty badges. So everybody that's been with us for 1 month since we moved over, they have the updated, it's different colors. They have an orange Xticle, as we call it.
Yeah.
The sexy Xticle. So come grab that loyalty badge. Have a great week, everybody. This is the month, August. It's here. Hellblade is our game club game. We're going to get to know more about the PlayStation. We're going to know more about the Xbox hardware. And I bet you we're going to see some more gameplay. So very excited for that. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your summer. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.